I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 63 of Tales from Godric's Hollow. The number one Rita Skeeter podcast out there on the internet. I am one of your hosts. I am the Muggle of the show. I am the champion bandwagon fan of Rita Skeeter. I am Josh Brown. I am joined, as always, by the professor. Not the new professor of divination, but a professor nonetheless, Matt Sonnenberg. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Josh.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I am excited for tonight, my friend.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's going to
That's
be a fun
good.
show.
I mean, I'm very glad to hear you say that, because one of the first things I got in our Slack chat this week after we released this episode was, if Josh says this week's reading was, again, I'm going to scream.
To be fair,
I mean,
it was the middle of the book, man. It was.
I know. It was rough, and we were taking it slower than anyone normally would, and it just made everything worse. It magnified the problem.
Yeah.
And I understand where you're coming from, but there were a good number of weeks in there where you're just like, meh.
I know. I admit it, and I'm glad to finally have a week that I'm excited to talk about because of the reading, but also kind of selfishly, I'm excited for the email segment based on last week's show.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of have a hunch that it's going to be a doozy based on possibly some comments I made last week, so that excites me. I enjoy hearing what the audience out there thinks about my nonsense.
Sure.
But this week was also really good reading.
It was.
Yeah.
I think so.
I even put it at the end of my notes. I'm like, wow, that was an awesome chapter. Like, I had take a deep breath. Like, there was just so much crammed into this week's reading. It was exciting. It was suspenseful. It was interesting, emotional. It ran the gamut, man. It was good. We needed it.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had to break through that middle of the book sludge to get through to this, so it was worth it. The wait was worth it.
That's also good to hear.
Yeah. Before we want to start, though, I do want to send a shout out to anybody down in Florida. I know we have a friend of the show, Brent, living down there. By all accounts, he is okay. Him and his family are okay. Everything is well. But it is a scary situation down there. And, Disney World closed. That's a big deal. Did Universal Studios close? They closed too, also, right?
I didn't hear the big announcement like I did with Disney.
Yeah,
but I have to think they did. I mean, unless they couldn't be thinking, oh, if Disney's closing, everybody's going to come to Universal. I mean, no, yeah. I don't think so.
I just don't think the media made it as big a deal as they did with Disney World.
Yeah, for the sake of their employees, at least, you got to close the park.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping that Dragon on top of the bank is still doing well and is unharmed, because one day I'm going to go down and see that sucker. And hopefully I'll know what it's about by then.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That would be nice. But anyway, I hope everybody in Florida and anywhere else down there where hurricanes and storms are raging. Everybody's okay. I mean, out here on the West Coast, we have tons of forest fires. We have earthquakes down south. It's a lot of natural disaster type scenarios going on right now in the world, and I just want everybody to be safe. ultimately that's what it's all about. So just wanted to throw that shout out to anybody that may be listening that may be affected or may know somebody that may be affected by those things. So stay safe, folks. Enjoy this podcast. Let us be your respite for a couple hours.
There you go.
Other than that, Matt, I mean, like you said before we started, this is going to be a pretty straightforward show, my friend.
That's the plan, at least.
Yeah.
We'll see if we actually get to the end in a straightforward manner.
I don't foresee any Santa Claus topics being taking us off path, so we should.
I like how that's going to become the benchmark from now on. It's like, I don't see another Santa Claus moment.
Here's the thing, Matt. They did mention Easter.
Yeah.
In these chapters. Which got me thinking about the Easter Bunny, of course. Like, where does the Easter Bunny fit into this magical world? Is it one of the Fantastic Beasts? Like, does... I'm not going to do it, Matt. I have questions, but I'm not going to do it.
It's probably for the best.
Probably. Hagrid probably has answers. Let's start off with a giveaway. Let's give away some free stuff.
Do it.
Last week we promised that we were going to give away an amazing thing. Possibly the best gift that we've ever given out, Matt.
I knew you would love this.
You surprised me with it. I was shocked and amazed, and I just absolutely adore it. It is an amazingly designed Rita Skeeter t-shirt.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, not directly. Like, you gotta be in with the show to know what it's about.
Yeah.
Right. But regardless, everybody that's going to be wearing it knows exactly what's going on with it. And that's the best part, you know? You don't have to be direct in your love and appreciation for Rita Skeeter. Like, you could be subtle and be a closet Rita Skeeter fan, and the outside world won't judge you by wearing the shirt. But those that know, they know. They know. We're going to give away one of these shirts. I asked everybody last week to write in headlines.
Yes.
I don't exactly remember what kind of headlines I asked for, though.
Basically about your relationship with Rita.
Oh, right. My newfound appreciation.
Yeah.
For her. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, rekindling the magic between us, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
We got some entries, from what I understand.
We got a few. Yeah.
Got a few.
Yeah.
Here's how we're going to do this. This is exciting stuff. In this podcast tonight, episode 63, we are going to be covering 2 chapters of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, chapters 26 and 27.
Yes.
Within these 2 chapters, Matt, we were reintroduced to a long-lost character who is now back and is now a professor at Hogwarts.
Okay.
This new professor is unlike any of the other professors we currently have that I'm aware of.
Professor Vector is not a Centaur. It's okay.
Okay. I also don't know of all the professors at Hogwarts, and it still bugs me. But don't at me, folks, and say, well, actually, this professor. Because I'm pretty sure I don't know any other professors that have 4 legs, Matt.
Okay.
This new professor has 4 legs. So we're going with the number 4.
All right. The number 4 would give us... Has she won anything recently or at all?
I don't know. I'm going to say no, based on my limited knowledge.
All right. She's in the clear.
Cool. See, this is how random it is, folks. Like, we don't even, like, have any idea what we're doing beforehand.
Yeah.
We're doing this on the fly.
The winner this week goes to one of our headmistresses.
Wow, how about that?
Marissa.
Marissa, congratulations. Totally random.
Yeah. And that's why I had to double check. I'm like,
yeah.
Way back in the day, she won one of the dragons.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
She was not the overall champion.
No, she wasn't.
She couldn't win the Tri-Wizard Cup. But she gave a valiant effort then. Congratulations, Marissa. You are the proud owner of a simply misunderstood Rita Skeeter t-shirt.
Indeed.
Man, all her friends are going to be so jealous of this shirt. I kind of have an inkling that Marissa may not be the biggest fan of Rita Skeeter. So the fact that she wins this shirt just tickles me beyond belief, Matt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be pleased.
What is the headline, though, that she submitted?
Marissa's headline reads, Scandal. Josh the Muggle Brown shocks audience with unforeseen confession.
I like it.
And she includes, I myself was shocked. So
starting off a headline with scandal, that's an attention grabber.
Indeed.
That's clickbait.
Yeah.
Love it. Muggle bait, maybe?
Well, if it's put in Muggle paper, it probably could be. Yeah.
Congratulations, Marissa. I loved it. Matt, you did say that we had several really good entries, though, and I kind of just want to go through them all.
Okay.
Okay.
So, as I mentioned to you before, most of these did follow the instructions and just give us a headline. Mm-hmm. That's all that was required.
Which, thank you to everybody that did submit entries for this giveaway. Appreciate it.
Yeah. They were a lot of fun to read, actually.
Most people follow the rules.
But a few people went above and beyond.
Okay.
And we're going to save those for the end.
Perfect.
So, we got one here from Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Reads, The Convoluted and Confusing Musings on Rita Skeeter.
I like it.
Joe says, Witless Muggle, oblivious to sensibility, hoodwinked anew by crafty columnist.
Man,
yes.
I'm already impressed by these. We're 3 in, and I love them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I love these.
Uh-huh.
We got one from Denise. Says, Batty Muggle loves, then hates, then loves kooky columnist.
Kooky. Yep, okay.
Yep. One from Cindy. Says, acclaimed reporter forms alliance with Potter-savvy Muggle.
I am definitely a Potter-savvy Muggle.
Yes. That's one we're saving. One from Chelsea says, bitten by the love bug? The Muggle confesses his support to Rita Skeeter.
I love that. That's so good.
From Maria, St. Mungo's staff baffled after Muggle-born Josh Brown, who was previously obliviated by Gilderoy Lockhart, fully recovered memory after seeing his longtime crush Rita Skeeter.
I like how everybody's spinning it to be like a romantic angle here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jessica says, misled Muggle continues to follow wrathful writer. Full story on page 6.
Mm-hmm. Misled by you folks, mind you.
That was Marissa there. Got one from Sarah. Says, Beetle baits Muggle again.
True.
Yep. All about the beetle.
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna says, learn to live with bugs.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Sure.
Then we have one of our spectacular writings here from down in New Zealand. Must be something in the water down there, actually. Our other one is from that area as well.
Shocking.
But Kim says, hoodwinking gone wrong. Skeeter arrested after Muggle found surfing with giant squid. And she continues with a bit of an article. Okay. Rita Skeeter arrested for questioning after a spell to control Muggle Josh Brown backfires. Mr. Brown, co-host of the Muggle podcast Tales from Godric's Hollow, was to meet with Miss Skeeter at the Hogshead to discuss an appearance on the show. It is believed Miss Skeeter, in an attempt to take over the show and relaunch her career in the Muggle world, attempted to modify Mr. Brown's memory. Mr. Brown was later seen running towards the lake with an armful of toast, shouting, "Make some noise!" Spelled with Y.
Naturally. That's
fantastic. And then, finally...
Also, hold on. Can I just point out that it doesn't take any sort of, like, memory charm or mind control jinx to tempt me into surfing with giant squid?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Then, from our other headmistress, Mel B.
Boy.
She gave us a disclaimer. It says, sorry, I had to write an article. I was so inspired by this competition, I actually stopped work to do it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, she sent this from one of her work addresses. Like, it's not even her usual email address.
That's fantastic. Is the government of Australia watching this podcast now?
I couldn't tell you, but I have all their contact information.
Whew, okay. Big time.
I know exactly where she works now. Anyway, Mad Muggle Josh Brown back in love with the blonde bombshell Rita Skeeter. Josh Brown, known infamously for his lack of Harry Potter knowledge, did declare in the last installment of Tales from Godric's Hollow that he loves Rita Skeeter, the controversial and sassy former journalist for the Daily Prophet. Mr. Brown is known for his strange infatuations with characters which have previously included the half-giant Rubeus Hagrid, the completely innocent cat Crookshanks, and the dark and dangerous Bellatrix Lestrange. Rita Skeeter is quoted as saying that she is absolutely flattered by the attention she is receiving from Mr. Brown, and that it is well-deserved for all the hard work she has put into her cutting-edge journalism. Miss Skeeter and Mr. Brown have had a brief affair earlier this year that was tragically cut short when Miss Skeeter published an article unfavorable to one of Mr. Brown's close acquaintances, the dangerous half-giant Rubeus Hagrid. At this stage, we do not have confirmation if they will put this behind them and move forward with their confusing and often volatile relationship. We here at the Daily Prophet can only hope for the best for this couple, and we'll keep our readers up to date on any developments. For more on Josh Brown and his potentially unstable mental condition, turn to page 4. To read about Rita Skeeter and her cutting-edge writing, turn to page 7.
Melby. 2 takeaways from that.
Yes.
She forgot Tonks. And
okay.
She's trying to troll me extremely hard with the Crookshanks. The innocent Crookshanks? No. Get out of here, Melby. Get out of here. I don't believe that for a second.
All right.
That stupid cat.
Believe what you will.
Also, can I not just love a character and hope for like a working relationship with them? Like, this isn't about a romantic type of thing here, folks.
But it's so much easier to write a headline about.
That's true. It's me acknowledging and having the back of a fellow journalist, a straight shooting, always honest journalist. Can't argue with that, Matt.
All right.
I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Those were so good.
They were.
Yeah.
Like I said, I greatly enjoyed reading them.
I was kind of worried throwing that giveaway contest out. You know, not sure how people would handle writing headlines and such, but knocked it out of the park.
Yep, they came through.
Yep. Stay tuned for the end of the episode where we will have another giveaway. We will have another contest, which hopefully you guys will find as fun as this one.
Yep.
Congratulations once again to Marissa, and thank you to everybody that did participate in this. It was a lot of fun.
For anyone that is interested in that shirt, though, it is available for pre-order up on the website, talesfromagodric's.com/shop or store, whatever you want to call it.
Did you actually link both now?
Oh, yeah, they both work, don't worry.
Good, I can't mess it up.
One other quick note.
.com/bodega.
Oh, Josh.
Nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody's going to ever go to that one.
Okay, I hope not. But one other quick note about the store, that if you were interested in the coin that's up there, that will actually be going away from the store. That will be leaving the store on the 15th of this month.
Okay.
So you only have a few days left to grab that. Otherwise, it's going to go back to being Patreon exclusive, so you'll still be able to get it if you want to become a patron over there, but it'll be leaving the store for now.
Yep. At pretty much the same price, too, right?
Yeah. I mean, the best part about Patreon is you get all the lower levels below it, so you're actually getting more.
Exactly. More bang for your buck, folks. Yeah, no, check it out. The shirt is fantastic. It's a beautiful green color. I'm stoked about the green. I love it.
Just for you.
And I will say, there is another great shirt coming up here soon.
It's true.
Yeah. One that I'm very stoked about.
One of Josh's own design. Yeah.
You guys will love it, I promise. Without further ado, Matt, let's get to the reading, shall we?
All right, let's do it.
Again, we are covering chapters 24 and 25 of Harry Potter and the Order.
Try again.
We are covering chapters 26 and 27 of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Sorry, I had accidentally scrolled up on my notes a little bit too far.
I've done that before.
Yeah, just saw the 25. That looked good to me. Lots to talk about. I have tons of notes. Can't say for sure we're going to get through everything, but we're going to have fun doing it regardless.
Absolutely.
Matt, let's go ahead and start with chapter 26.
Chapter 26, Seen and Unforeseen. One new character by the name of Theodore Knott. So, did you pick up on this one?
Nope.
Okay. We have had mention of a knot before, but this was, from what we gather in this chapter, this boy's father.
Which boy's father?
Knott.
Okay, so who was it? I have no idea what we're talking about anymore.
Theodore Knott is our new character in this chapter.
Where do we meet him?
He is a Slytherin that was hanging out with Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle.
Oh, in the hallway? Oh, no. Yeah, okay.
It was significant because Harry quickly figured out why the four of them were all hanging out. It's because he named all their fathers as Death Eaters.
Okay, I heard all that part, but I don't remember the fourth kid being there with them. So
yeah, but like it was actually kind of awkward, I thought, because it wasn't like it didn't need to be there really.
No,
other than like tying up a loose end of like, okay, this guy has a kid at Hogwarts too, but
sure.
Otherwise, because it was like Harry didn't know who he was. It was Hermione leaning over and telling him, "Oh, yeah, that's Theodore Knott." Like, okay, that was weird.
Yeah,
but okay, sure.
I guess
there's more Death Eater kids.
Whenever we talk about like the Slytherin kids, like in my head, like they're just one collective group, you know. And like I know the main three, and anybody else is just kind of ancillary, secondary characters, and I tune them out for the most part.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so one new character that doesn't mean anything. Glad I didn't pay too much attention. What?
Not for now.
Going forward, I'm sure it's not going to mean anything either, Matt.
All right.
We're too late in the story to care about new people. Especially new kids. Get out of here. Get out of here. Just by the title of the chapter alone, I was really hoping this was going to be a Professor Trelawney chapter.
Yeah?
I know I'm kind of wish-washy on her, and I flip back and forth. I'm fascinated and annoyed by her at the same time. You know?
I can see it. Yep. You want to know more, but at the same time, everything you get is not what you're looking for.
Exactly. I'm always excited to learn more about her, and then when we start to learn more about her, I'm just like, why did we do that? That was such a waste of a half a chapter, you know?
Sure.
Also, I really like Val's voice when she was reading Trelawney, so that helps a lot.
Exactly. Like, yeah. I think that's the first impression you got.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, that's an interesting character. Thanks, Val.
Yeah. Also, Val going between Trelawney and Umbridge is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, so I was excited about a Trelawney chapter. Also kind of wary about a Trelawney chapter, but there it was. I like trying to predict what we're going to get with the titles of the chapters.
Yeah.
Especially because I can't see the pictures, you know, which is like usually a dead giveaway about what's going to be talked about.
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going off of like just the words, and sometimes it's kind of tricky.
It can be.
All right, so the Quibbler.
Yes.
It's worth a shot, right?
Yeah, that's what Harry thought. I mean, like, he is definitely worried about how people are going to take it, but at the same time, he knew he needed to do something. It was just one of those situations he needed to do something.
Yeah.
And this was... he had no idea what to do, and it's like, Hermione had an idea, let's go with it.
Yeah. And if it didn't work, like, he wasn't going to lose any more credibility.
Exactly. He's not going to be any worse off than he was beforehand.
Yeah. It's kind of a Hail Mary pass and hope for the best type of thing. So, I get it. You know, I get it. We did learn that, like, Harry and Seamus aren't, like, still friends quite yet. Like, that's still kind of a...
Yeah, not before the article.
Right. Yeah. Right. Which is something that we've talked about before, and you kind of got confused by with where Seamus was in the whole story.
Well, yeah, because you asked me... I made the mistake of trusting the internet. and
I made the mistake of trusting you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, you had just asked me if he was in the DA. And so I went and looked up, you know, members of the DA, forgetting that, you know, some people joined later than others.
Well, I think I had asked you if they were friends yet, and you're like, yeah, he's in the DA, so of course they're, like, at least civil with each other. And I was like, oh, yeah. I don't remember him being there.
Yeah.
And you looked it up, and you're like, yeah, he's totally in there. Okay.
Yep.
Which he eventually, we learned to find out, joins the DA, so...
Yeah.
You weren't wrong.
Wasn't too worried about that. I mean, not a huge spoiler.
No. Also, that didn't really affect the story at all. Like, it was just Seamus wasn't around for several chapters.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't at the DA meetings, and okay, sure, and now he is.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, like, these two chapters kind of, like, just tie up that little brief storyline of their beef at the beginning of the school year.
Yep. It's not like when he has a problem with Ron, and
right.
Ron hangs around him all the time, even when they're mad at each other.
Yeah, and we're waiting to find out when it's going to be resolved and anything.
Yep.
It's just like, whatever. All right. Hermione and Harry are talking about his date with Cho Chang.
Yeah.
Boy. I'm with Harry on this one. Like,
yep.
Hermione makes Harry feel like it's his fault. Even though she also kind of admits it's not Harry's fault.
I mean, she admits that it's confusing, I think, and that it's hard to navigate until that, but
it just implies that he should have been better.
Yeah, and I mean, what she implies that basically he should have lied to her.
Yeah.
And
that's
I'm like,
what I
was,
no.
Harry should not have to make up stories just to please Cho.
Right.
Like, if that's what it's gonna take, like, if Cho can't handle Harry having any female friends, like, it's not gonna work. Mm-hmm. Like that just no.
Now, was he tactless? No. Yeah. He was a dumb 15-year-old boy.
Exactly. Could he have handled it better? Yes.
Sure.
Is that the exact approach he should have taken? Probably not.
But he also wasn't approaching it with any sort of guilt. Like, he wasn't approaching it like, I need to explain myself or I need to rationalize this. He's
Fair
just
enough.
thinking, Hermione's been my friend for 5 years now. I'm pretty sure everybody in the school knows that we're best friends.
Yep.
This isn't even something I'm thinking about because it shouldn't be an issue in the least bit, you know?
Yeah.
If he was feeling guilty for it, like, then he could start, like, trying to backpedal or over-explain or anything like that. But he didn't even have the concept of feeling guilty for anything because he's 100% not in that road right now.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Hermione's just like, yeah, just lie to her. Tell her that you don't think, tell her that you think I'm ugly. And,
yeah. I mean, that was the last straw, too. It's like, no.
And Harry's like, but you're not ugly. Shut up. He was in a no-win situation here. And I know Hermione is just trying to make Harry think about girls differently and approach the situations differently.
Yeah, it's one thing to explain how she's thinking, but I don't like her solution to it.
Right. Yeah. And also, like, we have to remember that she's kind of been dating an older guy who is...
Has she?
I mean, ish. I don't know the status of the relationship. But Victor Crumb...
I think they've been writing to each other. I don't know if they've been dating necessarily.
Okay.
I mean,
they went to the ball, they hung out...
I guess I mean, you could call it a long distance thing.
Sure. I mean, it's not serious, but regardless, like, a potential love interest or fling interest or whatever you want to call it, from Hermione's perspective, is like this 18-year-old kid, who's been through all these dumb things that Harry's been through and is probably a little bit more mature, and she's like, well, this is how it's supposed to go. And Harry's like, oh, I'm still a dumb 15-year-old boy. Like, I'm not there yet. Give me credit here. Also, it made me really fully realize that I don't think I will ever fully understand women. Like, as much as I want to say, yeah, I got this figured out. With daughters and stepdaughters and partners and everything else, it's like, no, because that sequence was written by a woman, and Hermione is, like this very strong female character, and like, we as readers are like taking on Harry's perspective, and I'm sure like the female audience out there are just like, yeah, totally, Harry, like, dumb kid, and like us dumb boys are sitting here like, what are you talking about? Like, and talking about it on podcasts and everything. Like, there's no chance for us, Matt. What are we even doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I think
we don't deserve to be in the company of women. Let's be just real here.
Like, their last interactions kind of explain it all to me. It's like when Hermione says, girls don't often ask questions like that, basically blunt, straightforward questions.
Right.
And Harry's like, well, they should. Like, I totally agree with you, Harry. I wish people would be straightforward.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's like, then it's like they tell Hermione she needs to write a book about it. And it's like, that would be an interesting career path for Hermione, I think.
I think that was a subtle note to self from J.K. Rowling there.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm going to address this
My
in a
next
few years
book.
when the series is over. Yeah, Hermione's Guide to Love. Just, yeah, it's fascinating. We had a little interaction with the whole gang of Weasleys.
Yep.
Because they're all playing Quidditch. Well, no. A couple of them are. The other two are busy fixing...
Yeah, there's only two of them playing right now.
Right. I forgot the twins weren't playing.
Yep.
But they kind of showed up all at the same time at dinner time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all there.
The twins are working on their skiving boxes?
Skiving snack boxes.
Skiving snack boxes.
Yep. We're gonna get yelled at about that in the email segment again. So
I'm sure
we'll get it right.
Yeah. Murtlap, Essence of Murtlap.
Yes,
of course.
I'm glad you're picking up on these.
Well, that name is like ingrained in my skull now.
Yep.
Also, I can't help but pay attention to Lee Jordan references. So,
also true. But what I like about this, if you trace this back, so the essence of Murtlap is what allowed Fred and George to finalize their snack boxes and get them ready for production.
Right.
And if you trace it back, they learned about it from Lee Jordan. Who learned about it from Harry. Who learned about it from
Neville.
Hermione. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
So I think
who's the prefect that's supposed to be not letting them do this kind of
stuff? The one who has been against their snack boxes from the beginning.
Sure.
Is essentially the one who helped them complete it. And I love it.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Also, I feel like this brief little reference, this quick 2 little paragraph discussion about Quidditch was meant just to shut people up.
Okay.
Specifically, people like me, who are upset about the scoring system in Quidditch. Right?
Yeah.
Jenny talks about catching the snitch.
Yep.
And the team still lost. Snitch,
and they lost. Just like, where have we seen this before?
I don't know. In the documentary that we watched?
No.
Oh.
In the World Cup.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
where Crumb caught the snitch, but lost the match.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
It happens.
It does happen. Not very often, but it happens. And I think it's just like JK's reminder that to everybody that, you know what? The scoring system is a little wonky.
Yep.
But
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay. We didn't have to talk too much about Quidditch. It was all pretty straightforward there. I really like Jenny being part of the story more.
Yeah, just definitely
part of the group and not the little sister that's tagging along.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. JK reminds us that Umbridge is still awful because, it had been a couple pages since we were reminded of that, so...
Sure.
Okay, this is where I started to, worry that these 2 chapters this week were going to be the same as, the last few weeks.
Sure.
Because we went back to, the dream sequence, and I realized I am so sick of this dream sequence now. I know it's progressively getting a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. I'm just so tired of this storyline that it needs to have an amazing payoff for me to really get reinvested in all this.
So I think once again, we have to look at where this book is coming from. We're taking this from Harry's perspective.
Yeah.
And JK is doing her job and getting us into Harry's mindset as much as she can. And I think what you're feeling most about this sequence is frustration. That you keep seeing it over and over, just a little more at a time, and you're not getting anywhere. You're not getting that payoff that you want.
No,
and I think
it's boredom, Matt.
But I think that's where Harry's at. He's at that point where he just wants to find out how it ends. But now we have Dumbledore here saying, no, you need to shut your mind off. Stop seeing these things.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, and I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I am just honestly bored to death with this dream storyline.
Okay.
And here's how I know the difference between frustration and boredom. If I was just simply frustrated that we're not getting any answers, I feel like I would be theorizing a lot more as to what eventually is going to be the end result of this thing.
Sure.
I haven't caught myself one time sitting there thinking, man, I really wonder what's on the other side of the door. I wonder what Harry's going to find. I wonder what the weapon is. I wonder, like, I don't actively think about any of that stuff. I should be. Like, this is, like, prime Muggle theory material. And I just don't care. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just the repetition of same hallway. It's boring to me. And I don't know what it's going to take to get back on board with it all. But it just, it's been, I don't know. I don't know how to fully explain it, but
fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I just wish like I could be like excited to find out what it is, and at this point, it's just like just get it over with already. Like, there's no eagerness. It's just I need resolution so we can move on to something else.
All right.
Which I know everybody's gonna kill me for, but that's what it is, folks. That's what it is. And here's the thing: you guys all know what the end result is. So maybe there's a little bit more eagerness and excitement because you know what's coming up. And there's not that carrot hanging in front of me with this particular storyline. I'm more fascinated by why Hagrid's getting beat up all the time than finding out what's behind this dumb door in Harry's dream.
Okay.
That's just me.
That is you.
Speaking of dumb things...
She's back.
Oh, no. I wasn't going to get that far down.
Oh, okay.
We need to talk about some owls, Matt.
Okay. Wait, why are owls dumb now?
Because they're all fighting for Harry's attention. Like, it's going to matter who gives Harry their first package or letter. They all have a job to do, and that's to deliver the mail. Why does it matter who gets to go first?
Because first one back gets the best treats.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. It just cracks me up that all these owls are just flying in and just like knocking stuff over the table and fighting with each other to get in front of Harry.
Well, I think it's kind of an unusual situation. I mean, like they're not used to it either, having to wait in line to deliver their message. They're like, oh, well, that owl down there must be for the guy next to him. I'm going to fly right down to my guy.
Sure.
Like, oh, look at that. Oh, we're in a pile now.
I guess that is kind of unusual to have that many owls just show up at once.
I mean, you don't see it. Usually it's like they deliver the newspaper in the morning. Okay, cool.
Right.
That's all your mail. You deliver one package. Like, they're 14-year-old, 15-year-old kids. They don't get a lot of mail on a regular basis, and definitely not all at once.
Sure.
I could see the exception being maybe like on their birthday or something. Maybe they get a few more.
Right.
But at the same time, maybe they just get one big package from their family.
Sure. Not a table full of owls.
Exactly. Whereas, this definitely seems like in my mind, I'm picturing at least like 24 owls.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Alex probably has the accurate numbers of how many owls were used in this delivery, but
it's true.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny. Just hilarious mental image of all these owls stomping around on a table, knocking stuff over, trying to get to the front of the line. What were they delivering, Matt?
Fan mail?
Fan mail, that's right. Because Harry is a star. His article in the Quibbler was phenomenal. It was beautifully written. It was the quintessential Harry Potter is a hero piece. And like the wording was just, I hate to say it, but it was magical, Matt. It was delicious. It was so good. Like whoever wrote this piece, Matt, amazing work.
I'm glad you appreciated it.
This goes to show that not only this book, but this series is just jam-packed full of unsung heroes. We know Harry Potter is the hero of the story, right? But there's so many more heroes that don't quite get the recognition they deserve. That, dare I say it, are simply misunderstood. And I think our dear Rita Skeeter here showed with the brilliance of this article how important she truly is to declaring Harry Potter the hero that we all know him and want him to be.
Are you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I really have no words.
I mean,
I don't like.
We could give some credit to the Quick Quotes Quill for doing its job.
Honestly, yeah, it did a better job than it usually does.
But
staying on track at least.
There was a witch behind that quill, though, Matt, that just knocked it out of the park, as they say.
Do they? Would wizards say that?
That caught
I'm not
the
sure.
snitch right off the bat.
Off the... Well, I guess there are bats in that game, but fine.
So the fan mail comes in. There's a couple that are doubters, haters, if you will. You know, Harry's like, yeah, whatever. I'm nothing new here. Let's just move past this stuff.
Like, we didn't convince you. We didn't change your mind at all.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Back to status quo with you. No problem.
Yep.
One person wrote in to tell him that he didn't have an opinion.
Oh, the beginning of the YouTube comments.
I have no opinion about this, but I'm going to spend my time telling you that.
Yep.
Instead of just moving on with your life. I think even Ron mentioned how it was a waste of parchment.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that. I appreciate that. And then the positive comments started to roll in, Matt.
They did find a few.
People are siding with our dear Harry Potter.
And that's what they were hoping for.
One lady even sent a picture of herself along with a letter.
Yes.
I'm sure he blushed. I imagine he did.
Possible.
And all this is just like, it's good. Like, he's soaking in the positivity here. And he's like, man, thank you to that Rita Skeeter for doing this for me. She's just amazing. So as he's about to just like scream to the heavens about how amazing Rita Skeeter is, everything came crashing down, Matt.
Yep.
Because we aren't allowed to be happy in this book, I have decided.
Pretty much, yeah. Every time you think things are going well,
the rug gets pulled out from underneath us and we go face first into a pile of mud. That's how I feel every time Umbridge walks in and ruins everything. I appreciate that Harry was not trying to hide the fact that he did this interview, and he is dang proud of it.
Yeah.
Because he knew, I didn't break any rules here. I'm totally cool. This is all gravy. She hasn't outlined or outlawed anything like this. We're good here.
Yep.
Makes the ministry look bad, which he knows she's going to be upset by, but he didn't do anything wrong, so he can't get in trouble for.
Exactly. He was completely within his rights.
Yeah. Well, Umbridge did get mad.
Of course she did.
So mad that the next day, Educational Decree number 27 was posted. Basically telling kids, you're not allowed to read the Quibbler. That is outlawed from Hogwarts.
Yeah, she went as far as to say you will be expelled just for possession of the Quibbler. Like, that's pretty harsh there.
Yeah, but that's scary stuff. I mean, that immediately makes you think that, oh, these kids are totally not going to read the Quibbler anymore.
Might be your first thought, but
these are kids.
Yep.
And when they're told implicitly not to do something, especially something so harmless as like reading a publication.
Yeah, don't read that book.
Yeah.
Don't watch that movie.
I mean, Dumbledore tells them not to go in the Forbidden Forest. 98% of them don't go in the Forbidden Forest.
Sure.
Right? Because they know there's things out there that could kill them. There's a reason why Dumbledore made these rules.
Yeah, like that one they understand. Most of them, I think, understand right off the bat.
Right.
Now you got, I'm going to be thinking about that every time I say it. But they understand that, yeah, there's a reason, a valid reason not to go into the forest.
Right.
Fine.
Is there a valid reason not to read the Quibbler?
Yeah, it's like what reason could she have for us? Like, of all, like it'd be one thing if Dumbledore said it, even.
Right.
But this Umbridge that they've been hanging around with all year, and they know they don't agree with her and all the rules she's making. She tells you not to read the Quibbler all of a sudden, and you think twice about that.
Yeah.
It's like, what is she hiding?
Exactly. Your first instinct is like, well, why can't we read the Quibbler? What is in the Quibbler that's so bad that we aren't allowed to read it?
Yeah, it's like they were allowed to read it before, but now they're not.
Yeah.
The Forbidden Forest, I kind of get the idea. You were never allowed there. He's just reminding you, don't go in there.
Right. It's also called the Forbidden Forest, so...
Yeah. It's not like he's really taking that away from you. You never had it. Whereas access to the Quibbler they had, and now she's trying to take it away. So
which
like,
many of them thought was silly in the first place. You know, like nobody put much stock into it.
Exactly. They just thought it's like we've always said, kind of like a tabloid. And so that, yeah, they didn't put much stock in it. But what's going on now? Why do you care so much about this?
Right. Well, kids will be kids, and it seems like everybody in school managed to get their hands on the Quibbler in one way, shape, or form, whether it be being told what was included by other kids that had read it, whether it be putting charms on the Quibbler to make it look like pages of a textbook, which was genius. I absolutely love that.
Yep. It's the equivalent of changing the book jacket.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody at Hogwarts is reading it, you know.
Yep.
Dolores Umbridge done messed up here by trying to prevent this from spreading.
Exactly. Finally, her overreach, her misuse of power, whatever you want to call it, it backfired.
Yeah. She tried to put out a fire with gasoline.
Yep. Did the exact opposite of what she wanted to do.
Even the professors are in on it. And because they're not allowed to speak about things that don't pertain to their classes and their subjects that they're teaching while in class, they all came up with ways to indicate to Harry and the rest of the students that they had read it and they enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of ragged on the teachers before for arbitrarily handing out points.
Yeah.
I mean, this is about as bad as it gets here. I mean, yeah. What was it? Professor Sprout awarded Gryffindor 20 points when Harry passed her a watering can.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. Something fishy's going on.
I mean, to be fair, Harry's had a lot of points taken away for no real reason at all.
Oh, sure.
So it was nice to see the teachers rallying behind Harry Potter while still doing it secretly, you know.
Exactly, and I like the kind of clever ways that J.K. came up with for all the different teachers to show that they were behind Harry.
What's his name? Flitwick gave him squeaking sugar mice.
Yes.
Don't know what those are, but I want to know.
Yeah, definitely want to try them, right?
I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. Trelawney, though. she's something else, Matt.
Yeah, she went a bit over the top.
Not only is Harry not going to die now, he's going to live a long and prosperous life and get married and have 12 kids.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids, Matt.
It is a lot of kids.
That's way too many kids. Harry is like, whoa, I would rather be dead at this point. Come on now, Trelawney.
There are what, 7 Weasleys?
Yeah, and that's
a lot.
That's almost too much for old Molly Weasley. So, I mean, granted, she does have the twins, which like adds several more Weasleys. It feels like, you know.
Yes. Then, I mean, the past few years, you add in Harry and Hermione too.
That's true. Yeah, just it was a fun turnaround that we don't normally get when Umbridge is in the picture. It's usually Umbridge comes, ruins all the fun, and then we spend the rest of the chapter trying to climb out of the mud.
Sure.
This is, she tried to push us in the mud, and we avoided the mud pile, did a roll, and happily ran down the lush green hilltop, singing and dancing along the way.
I was going to go with flew away on your broomstick, but sure.
Yeah, that too. You know. But she would be mad about that, and they'd be in trouble for flying without...
Okay, fine. Harry doesn't have a broomstick.
Right. Then she'd make an educational degree about using broomsticks outdoors without proper headgear or something.
Yes.
You know she would do something.
She'd find some way.
Yeah. Even Cho Chang. She's back on the Harry Potter bandwagon now.
Yeah.
Of course she is. Just, I can't do this love angle anymore. It's too... Harry needs to just walk away from this.
Yep.
It kind of feels like he's at that point.
He's definitely getting there.
Yeah.
Probably taking longer than we'd like, but...
Right. The best part, though... The Slytherin kids.
Yeah.
Who can't even be mad at Harry Potter.
Yep.
They want to argue, like, as you pointed out, like, Harry named all of their fathers as Death Eaters.
Yes.
By name.
Yep.
And
so everybody knows now.
Everybody knows.
Probably assumed, but now
Right.
Everybody knows.
And they can't even offer a rebuttal or an argument or, like, try to disprove Harry Potter or fight about it, because that would indicate that they read it, and that's against the Educational Decree number 27.
You got it.
It's fantastic. This is just a win all the way around.
Yeah. It became, I think, more than even Hermione was planning on.
Yeah. And all this, Matt, all of this joy and goodness and fantastic, amazing, good things happening to Harry Potter and friends, all of this is because of one brave woman.
Hermione.
Rita Skeeter, of course, Matt, who is not getting the credit that she deserves. But you know what? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
All right.
Question.
Yes.
Rookwood.
Yes.
The name sounded familiar. I realize that you didn't offer up him as a new character.
Correct.
Was he a Death Eater? Is
Yes.
he a Death Eater?
So Rookwood was... He actually worked at the Ministry.
Mm-hmm.
In the Department of Mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
But way back, I believe it was with Barty Crouch, named him as a Death Eater.
Okay.
And that's when he went to Azkaban.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so now he's out and back with Voldemort.
Right. Which we see because of Harry's dream.
Yes.
Now, it just dawned on me right now as you said that. we wouldn't know what Voldy was up to if it wasn't for Harry Potter dreaming about these things.
Very true.
Because the story is told from Harry Potter's perspective.
You got it.
So I guess that does make sense.
Yep.
Why we have to keep doing this.
It gives you glimpses of what's happening on the other side, yes.
Mm-hmm. Which I also will say that the dreams about Voldy, or being the snake, are far more interesting than the dreams of the hallway. So this one I can't even be mad about. Voldy. Harry is Voldy in this dream. Or he feels like he is, like when he speaks, like he's realizing that he's the one speaking.
Yeah, it's a little bit creepy every time that they do that. It's like it's something said Harry.
Yeah.
Like, it's not said Voldemort. It's not like Harry heard it in his head or something. Mm-hmm. It's Harry said it. Harry did this. Harry was walking here. Like, it's Harry at least feeling like he's taking over.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what happened with the snake, too, when it was like, and Harry bit down, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
Question.
Yep.
Is Voldy an animagus?
Not that we know of.
Okay. Reason I ask is I was trying to remember if we've seen Big Snake and Voldy together at the same time.
Sure.
Have we?
Yes. When Pettigrew back in Goblet, like opening chapter,
right?
Or, well, maybe that wasn't opening chapter, but sometime in there, they were in the same room and like they talked about milking the snake.
Oh, that's right.
And
okay.
Voldemort was telling him to do it.
Yeah, when he was still the little creepy creature.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just randomly thinking about the animaguses that we know of.
Yep.
The Marauders. Rita
And we're
Skeeter.
slowly finding out that there are many unregistered ones.
Uh-huh. So I was like, well, wait, is Voldy one? Is Voldy turning into the snake? Because that would be why Harry had that weird connection with the snake specifically. Because he is connected with Voldy, but could he have that same connection with a random snake also?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was already kind of mentioned a few chapters back that Voldemort had been possessing the snake.
That's true.
And that's why Harry had seen through the snake.
That's right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Also, Harry's a parcel tongue, so, like, nothing's too out of the ordinary there.
Exactly. It didn't seem too strange.
Yeah.
Like, Harry himself seems to have a connection to snakes, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Just had to ask. I wasn't for sure if we had learned anything about Voldy like
we
that.
know you love your animagus theories,
mm-hmm.
and Crookshanks, and
I mean that's still on the table, Matt.
I think someone tried to convince you that Voldemort was Crookshanks once.
I believe that was definitely in an email, which I didn't fall for that one. Yeah, get out of here with that nonsense. Okay, so Snape and Harry are back at it together.
Yep.
Definitely nothing about this scene is making me trust Snape at all.
Sure. I specifically liked that when Harry accuses Snape that because Snape basically tells him that keeping tabs on Death Eaters is not your job.
Right.
And Harry's like, well, okay, fine, that's your job. And Snape doesn't like deny it or anything. He actually goes so far as to admit it. It's like, yes, that is my job. Now let's get back to this. He just kind of tries to blow it off, but it's weird how much truth we actually get from Snape during these lessons.
Right.
Like, we saw that in even the first lesson. Like, Snape explained what was going on with Harry and Voldemort when no one else would. Now here, Snape is telling us, yes, this is what I've been up to. But he won't necessarily admit it publicly, but for some reason, he'll tell Harry all these things in private.
Yeah. Snape's an interesting character. I do love his little quote about, what do you say? About how he was giving up his evenings for this.
Yep.
Like, do you think I like giving up my evenings for this? It's like, what else are you doing, Snape? What else are you doing with your evenings?
Sleeping.
Sitting in your dungeon, being all creepy, making potions for no reason, being all creepy, wandering the halls, being all creepy.
Hey, doesn't come naturally.
Does it come naturally? What, his creepiness?
Yeah.
Of course it does. He's creepy.
All right.
He's been creepy since he was a kid.
You say so.
I mean, his memory told us so, Matt. Because we definitely got some flashes of young Snape.
We did.
Now, I will acknowledge that maybe he had a rough childhood.
Sure.
But he was also kind of a creepy kid, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zapping flies down just because, and making creepy potions as a kid. And he's kind of been creepy all of his life, I think.
Sure.
Regardless of his living situation or his relationship with his parents. He's kind of always been that emo kid, you know?
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
But I did appreciate Harry breaking into Snape's memory like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely accidental.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause Harry wasn't like trying to cast that spell,
right?
Or like he just managed to deflect it or reflect it, I guess would be more accurate. Because Snape was in his head at the time.
Right.
And he put up more or less a shield charm and reflected it at Snape.
Yeah. I loved it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting closer, Matt.
Yeah?
We're getting closer to breaking through of that threshold of finally maybe starting to little bit kind of understand barely why he might be your favorite character. Like we're just poking that bubble right now, and we're not popping it, but it's ready to pop.
Okay.
We're there. We're so close. But it'll probably be several chapters before we get back with Snape, knowing this book.
Hey, we're closing in on the end here. I was looking at it, and we're closer to the end than I thought we are. And these books always are so back heavy.
That's good to know, because I don't hold the book, so I don't know how far we end. This just feels like it's been going on forever, and it might continue to go on forever.
Well, okay, so we've been at this book, man,
since 2016.
No, it has not quite been that long. But no, we started this book back in June. So
is that it?
Yep.
I don't believe that for a second.
So June, July, August, into September. So I mean, we've been at it for like 3 months, but we're gonna be done. I think right at the end of October, actually.
Okay.
So we're really not that far. We're like 6 weeks away.
Okay.
From the end of the book. That's not that far.
Sure. Now, that doesn't mean at the end of the book I'm going to figure out why you like Snape so much.
No.
There's a good chance it's going to take another 2 books before we get to that point.
Very possible.
But I feel like we are closer now than we have ever been, and that's exciting.
Fair enough.
I don't feel sympathy for the little Snape. I still feel like he's creepy, and he's always been creepy. But I am eager to learn more.
All right.
Then we have Trelawney, finally.
It wouldn't be any fun if we got to it at the beginning of the chapter.
No. I mean, I thought, for a second, I was starting to think the title of the chapter was just because of Trelawney's weird, dumb prediction about Harry having 12 kids when he got older.
Sure.
Like, that's a stretch for a title chapter. Like, was JK just, pulling at anything to figure out what to call this thing?
You don't think it could have been for the dream? What he's seen and what he hasn't seen, or even just the occlumency? Seen and unforeseen? I could see any of those.
Yeah. It was all Trelawney. All the way along. Then she stumbles in all drunk. And it's like, yep, this is a Trelawney chapter. Here we go. She is drunk, right? Or has been drinking heavily.
Once again, these books were written with children in mind, and so, like we've said with the butterbeer, it's never explicitly said that it's alcoholic. It's never explicitly. I mean, we've seen Hagrid, who's had a few too many.
Sure.
And it's never quite said that he is drunk at all. But I would think it's safe to say that yes, she probably is.
Wasn't it sherry that she had?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of her drink of choice, I guess.
Right.
Like why else? Well, that's not one of these smells that was usually in her room.
Sure.
It's not like incense or anything.
Yeah.
That's why you get the idea that, yeah, that's what JK was trying to imply.
Okay. I mean, does sherry come non-alcoholic at all? I mean, I know it definitely wasn't focused in on Trelawney is drinking her woes away here. It was just casually mentioned, and I was like, okay, I understand. She just got canned. She has to leave. She's super depressed. I could totally understand her hitting the bottle right now.
Yeah. To my knowledge, at least, all sherry is alcoholic. Now, I mean, there's cooking sherry that you don't really want to drink because it doesn't taste good.
Right.
Without, that's why you cook with it. But I think it has to be alcoholic. It has to be fermented in order to be sherry.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, JK did a fine job of not making that the focal point of what was going on. And adults that read it are just like, okay, I get it. And kids that read it are just like, no idea what's going on. For all they know,
upset.
Yeah, Trelawney's upset.
That's all they need to know.
She has a bottle of something.
Yeah.
Kids, don't drink your sorrows away. It's not worth it.
Nope.
Unless it's butterbeer. Then to the moon. So like I said, Umbridge, of course, has fired her.
Yes.
We saw it coming.
Yep.
She didn't. Which is fascinating.
Yep.
Because you think she would have, but whatever. I think Umbridge even pointed out the fact that she didn't even see it coming, and that's
definitely
why she's no longer the divination professor.
Yes.
She's having a rough go at it. She's super sad. She has to leave Hogwarts because she's not a professor anymore. And finally, Matt, Dumbledore takes back his school.
He never let go of it.
He didn't let go of it.
He's choosing his battles.
He's just had a lot of slack on that rope for far too long.
I mean, up until this year, there were good people in charge.
Oh, yeah.
Was there just fine.
I'm just saying, since Umbridge has been there, we haven't seen the authoritative figure that is Dumbledore that we've come to know and love over the last 4 books.
But, I mean, look at what happens anytime something happens that Umbridge doesn't care for. What does she do? She goes crying to mommy and gets a new rule.
Yeah.
And so that Dumbledore realizes this. He understands this, and so he's not gonna rock the boat. He's not gonna get more educational decrees created than he needs to.
I understand why he's not doing it. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying it's about time that he pulled on that rope and took the reins back in control.
Yeah. I mean, he has, like I said, he's choosing his battles. He has his reasons for when he steps up and when he doesn't.
Yep. Now, he doesn't try to fight the fact that Umbridge is allowed to fire any professor that she sees fit to be fired. He's not trying to overstep his boundaries there. He realizes, hey...
Exactly. He's read these laws and decrees backwards and forwards, and he knows how to interpret them.
She wants to fire Trelawney, then she is entitled to do so, even though he's not pleased with the decision. He can't override it.
Yep.
What he can do, though, is keep Trelawney at Hogwarts. Let her stay there for the remainder of the school year. I assume he can let her stay there as long as she wants.
Why not? It's a big castle.
Yeah, it's a big castle. I mean, there's plenty of people that live there that probably shouldn't be living there. Let's be real.
Yeah. And so, I know you've had questions about this before, but this is like our first real mention of it, I think. That, one, the teachers do live there.
Yep.
And two, that they have some kind of quarters or... what was the word they used? Like, I think it was Umbridge actually said, well, what if someone needs her something or other?
I think she said room, didn't she?
I thought she used a different word, but anyway, not a big deal.
Right.
My point being that they actually finally get it mentioned that, yes, teachers do in fact live at the castle, and they have their own space.
Yeah. Which is nice. And Trelawney gets to keep her space.
Lodgings. That's the word she used.
Lodgings, okay.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if Trelawney will come back into importance at some point in the story.
Yeah.
You know, like with her remaining at Hogwarts, there has to be a story line, plot points, reason for that.
This isn't the first time we've seen Dumbledore do this, though. That's exactly why Hagrid's still there.
Sure.
He got kicked out of the school. I mean, he was much younger than Trelawney was, and he wasn't teaching. But he got kicked out of the school. I guess basically nowhere else to go, you could say. Mm-hmm. And so Dumbledore says, no, you're staying here.
Yeah.
You're going to help me.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not the first time. I'm curious going forward what role Trelawney will play in the story.
Sure.
Because she's not just going to go and just live out the rest of her days at Hogwarts and we're not going to hear from her again. Like, she's going to pop back up in some capacity. I know it. Okay. It may not be as a professor, but she will be important some way, somehow.
Sure.
Probably the last book, like the last 2 paragraphs, Trelawney will pop up. Hey, remember me? That'd be really weird, also. Fear not, good students of Hogwarts. We have a new divination teacher already.
Yes, we don't have to leave it up to Umbridge.
Who claimed to have somebody in mind already. Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, she knew she was going to fire Trelawney, so why not have a replacement ready?
Which made me nervous. but I was also kind of excited to see who she would pull out of her hat.
Really?
I mean, not excited as in gleeful about it. Excited as in how much worse can this get?
You get to meet a new teacher.
Yeah. Ultimately, yes, I get to meet a new teacher.
Yeah.
Possibly, most likely, a teacher that I'm going to hate, and I can have a new worst enemy.
Yeah.
But we didn't have to go down that road. Because Dumbledore, as we will learn in the next chapter, is always just a couple steps ahead of everybody.
He is, most definitely.
It's like he knows what's going to happen before it happens.
He does have that great sense of timing.
He does. He has a new professor to teach divination, and that new professor is...
Ferenz.
The Centaur!
He's back.
He's back.
I think a couple episodes ago, too, you were wondering if we'd ever see Centaurs again.
Yeah, I kind of missed them. They were a weird group of things. Folks. Of creatures. I don't know how to classify them, Matt. It makes me uncomfortable.
Exactly. I think that's part of the reason Umbridge doesn't like them. They're half-breeds. They're in between. Like, what are they?
Sure, but they're also easily offended, too.
Very, very so.
I mean, you can't call them horses.
No.
You can't call them people. I mean, they kind of are, but are they?
They're half and half.
They're centaurs.
Yep.
They're bizarre. And we have one that's teaching now. This
we do.
Is going to get good. What a chapter.
Yeah, turned out all right.
Not bad. Made me excited for the next one, I can tell you that.
That's good.
Before we get to that next one, which is chapter 27, I feel like now's a great time to check in with the Muggle poll.
All right, we can do that.
The Muggle poll we put up on our Twitter accounts at TalesFromGH. When I say we, I of course mean Matt, who puts it up on the day of our recording, usually around 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's a fun little way to interact with you, the listening audience out there, and talk about, in a broader sense, something that we read this week and kind of get your opinions on it. Matt, what was the question that you posed that I am boycotting?
You really don't like my questions anymore, do you?
It's not the question, it's the choices.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to know, well, we were just talking about divination. Who would you prefer to teach the class? Mm-hmm. And I gave you choices of our divination teachers, Professor Trelawney, mm-hmm. Ferenz, mm-hmm. or the unknown because it didn't happen, whatever would have been Umbridge's choice.
Right. Only 3 choices, Matt.
Yep.
I didn't vote on this because you left off a 4th choice, and kind of glaringly obvious what or who you forgot to include in this list.
Who's that?
Matt, this is 63 episodes of Tales from Godric's Hollow now.
The giant squid?
No, Matt. You silly professor. If there's one thing that everybody that listens to this podcast should be quite aware of, it is the uncanny ability of the Muggle of the show to predict the future when it comes to this story. I'm not going to say that I would be the best choice for teaching divination. I'm just going to throw it out there and say that I probably have a higher percentage of getting things correct more than any of these other bozos.
Well, you have said Dumbledore makes some questionable decisions, so...
He still does. Look, I stand by that statement, Matt.
All right.
Snape's still teaching at Hogwarts. That's questionable in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm just saying, maybe you could have thrown the Muggle on here.
I don't think Muggles are allowed at Hogwarts. Not to teach, at least.
look, I got 2 more years of study, and then I'll be qualified to do this.
All right.
Okay.
Get your honorary degree.
All right. Aside from the fact that I didn't vote on this because I disapproved with the choices, there were 3 great options for the people to vote on.
Well, at least 2.
True. I mean, yes. There were 2 great options.
Thankfully, we did get a 0. No one voted for Umbridge.
Good job, folks. That means nobody out there, not even Atari Alex, was bold enough or brave enough to troll us on this poll.
But we did get 69% for Friends and 31% for Trelawney.
That's fair. I expect that.
Yeah. That's kind of what I expected too.
Yeah. Who'd you vote
Honestly, though, I voted for Trelawney.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like, as weird and kooky and off as she can be, like, I guess hers always felt more like a class.
Right.
Whereas Friends, I mean, we only have one example so far. But I'm still not sure he's actually going to teach anything.
Yeah, it didn't sound like he was teaching. It sounded like he was bragging.
Well, like, yeah, he's like, we can do this. And like, I felt that he was more about awareness. Like we have all these awareness months to, breast cancer awareness.
Right.
Like, they're not trying to cure it necessarily, but they want to make people aware of it. Like, okay, I get and that's kind of what I feel like Friends is doing. It's like, I'm not going to be able to teach you this
because I
just want to make you
dumb.
I want to make you aware of it and know that this is out there. And some people, well, not people, some centaurs can do it.
Yeah.
Like, it just... I think I would get more frustrated in his class, honestly, than I would with Trelawney.
Yeah. Just telling us what we're missing out on.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I wish you guys could see this. This is so cool right now, but you never will because you're dumb humans. I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Centaurs, man.
There you have it. Yeah.
Can't live with him, can't live without him.
Something like that.
Trelawney, though, she's something else. Speaking of centaurs, Matt.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and jump into chapter 27.
All right. Chapter 27, The Centaur and the Sneak.
Now.
So you figure out what this one is all about?
Nope. I just saw the word centaur. I'm like, I'm in. Let's do this.
All right.
The sneak part, totally oblivious to that. I'm just like, well, maybe the centaurs are sneaking around the woods. I just went totally dumb on it. I didn't even put any thought into it whatsoever.
Fair enough.
I'm just excited to have centaurs back, Matt.
All right.
It's been so long, man.
I guess
Book
it's
1, right?
The magical creature, if you will.
Yeah.
It's got your attention.
Book 1, right?
Yeah. Forbidden Forest. Yeah.
Wow. Forever ago. Okay.
One new character we do run across. A man named Dawlish.
Okay.
Yep.
I was hoping he was a new one.
I
didn't put in my notes.
Well, I mean, just the way he's described, like, at first he's just mentioned, like, as a gray-haired man in the room.
Yeah.
And, like, they avoid talking about him, avoid mentioning him, until finally Dumbledore says something like, oh, don't even try it, Dawlish, or something like that. Like,
he's like, you're a pretty good orb, but
yeah,
I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah.
It's like, so, okay, yes. He's a disposable character.
That is our first mention. We know, he's an Auror, but that's about all we know right now. We don't even know his first name, so.
Sure. Maybe that is his first name.
It's not.
Okay. But it might be.
Okay.
But it's not.
For all you know, it could be, yes.
Hermione taught us that it's not okay to call centaurs horses.
Very true.
Especially gorgeous centaurs, Matt. I mean, we're not talking about just any old centaur here. We're talking about a gorgeous one.
Not. Although, I mean, from what we see, these girls just will fawn over anything, it feels like.
Are these also the ones that kind of old professor that shall not be named?
Everybody did
Everybody
that.
did, right? Like even Hermione, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. That was all the ladies.
Molly Weasley.
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
But I mean, like these two, Parvati and Lavender.
Yeah.
They would even fawn over Trelawney.
Yeah. They're fangirls.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So they found their new fandom.
Mm-hmm. There was a quick mention about how Umbridge hates half-humans.
Yep.
Which I had forgotten about up until it was, like, re-referenced. I'm like, oh,
well,
yeah.
then it's a good thing she reminded you.
Yeah. I was like, she does have that.
But, see, doesn't that make Dumbledore's appointment of this that much better?
Oh, yeah. It's 100% why he did it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably other good reasons, but number one was, oh, she's gonna hate this so much.
Mm-hmm. It's like, hello, passive-aggressive Dumbledore.
Yeah. Now, okay. I worry about saying this out loud, Matt, but it's already in my notes, so I have to just suck it up and do this.
Okay.
I am concerned that this might curse things.
Well, things can't get much worse, right?
Right. Well, it's something I haven't said in a long while, and people have actually pointed out the fact that I don't seem to be as excited about finding out different things or what different things look like in the movies.
Okay.
I am excited to be reintroduced to Firenze and his awesome classroom in the movie.
Okay.
So, I'm just putting that out there in the universe, and we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens.
So he does have a pretty cool classroom. It is designed to look like the Forbidden Forest, underneath the moon and the stars and all that good stuff. But It's in Hogwarts still.
Yes, classroom 11.
Because he's not allowed to teach class in the Forbidden Forest.
Well, I think Dumbledore might have allowed it, but he's been kicked out of the forest.
Right. That's right. He's not allowed.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Hagrid teach class in the Forbidden Forest.
Exactly. He does it regularly. Like that always got me too. I mean, okay, they're going in with a teacher, but
yeah,
we talked about before how many times, like, they're told year one, stay out of the Forbidden Forest.
Right.
There's one place you can't go. And then think about all the times that Harry's been there.
First attention, Hagrid's like, all right, let's go. Let's go to the place you're not allowed to go.
Yeah, we're taking you in there. Yep. Okay, now we're going to have class in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been pretty much exiled from his Centaur herd.
Yep. He has a nice hoof-shaped bruise on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not telling.
Yeah. The other Centaurs are not happy that he has agreed to teach for Dumbledore.
Yep.
And the way it was written made me feel like it was a Dumbledore thing, not like you're teaching at Hogwarts, so now we have to kick you out of the herd, but it's like, oh, you're teaching for him? That's how I read it, at least.
I don't think is so much personally Dumbledore.
Okay.
But the Centaurs in general, Firenze is kind of the exception, as we've seen a few times already. But they don't necessarily like that close interaction with wizards.
Right.
And especially, I guess, being beneath them.
Mm-hmm. Working for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to be employed by someone.
Sure.
They're better than that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess it was just like the way, I don't know, like specifically threw out Dumbledore's name. I was like, man, does Dumbledore have beef with the Centaurs? Like, I want to explore this relationship some more. But then it kind of did follow up and elaborate a little bit more about how, like he broke the rules the first time when he gave Harry a ride on his back because he's not, a mule. He's a centaur.
Yeah.
Okay, so he starts teaching this wacky class, right?
Yep.
Like you said, teach is a very that's a very loose word. Yeah. He's basically just telling the kids, look, you're not going to understand any of this. You're not going to get it. It takes centaurs years and decades to figure out all of this.
And then sometimes they get it wrong.
Right? That was the best part.
Okay, thanks. I mean, at least he's honest about it, I guess.
After watching the pattern of the stars for 10 years, you come to a conclusion about something, and you can still be wrong. Totally wrong.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Centaurs think a little too highly of themselves, I'm starting to think.
I think that's safe to say.
But who am I? Just a dumb human.
Yes.
Fascinating class, though. Like, I was like, the whole time I'm pretty much picturing just like a planetarium.
Sure.
And just like laying on the ground of a planetarium as like
I
stars
mean, without the seats or anything.
Right, yeah.
Like, it just, yeah.
But how cool that would be.
Exactly, yeah. That'd be awesome. The forest classroom. I like it.
Not a lot of important information came from this. It was kind of just us familiarizing with how this class is going to be from now on.
Sure.
Now, at the end of it, that's when it got a little interesting.
Yeah.
Firenze, who is already on a first-name basis with Harry Potter.
And you see, I made a note about that because, like, everybody was so impressed that Harry was on speaking terms with Firenze.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, maybe you haven't seen all the instances. Like, we've seen them in the book, and other people have been amazed. Like, Harry was on speaking terms with the minister.
Yeah.
And Harry, like, that's the thing. Everybody knows Harry, so everybody wants to be on speaking terms with him. And they are. It's just a lot of times Harry runs into them before everybody else does. And so it's like, yeah, we've met before. Sure.
But for, like, a lot of the students, like, they this is their first time interacting with a centaur.
Very true.
And I don't think Harry went and told everybody the story about how he got rescued by a centaur in the Forbidden Forest.
Yeah, and I guess that could be part of this instance is that maybe not everybody even knew that there were centaurs in the forest.
Right.
Because they don't, I mean, they obviously stay in the forest. They want to be on their own. They're not going to come out and interact with the kids.
Yeah. No reason.
Give them pony rides on the weekend.
Oh, that's fanfic waiting to be written, Matt.
Bane at the carnival.
Just kicking fools in the chest. Okay, so at the end of the class, Firenze pulls Harry aside, and he like told Ron he could stay too, which is cool,
Well, yeah, he kind of hesitated and is like, should I stay or should I go now?
Yeah. I appreciate that the teachers acknowledge that, like, they're besties and they're going to do... Like, if he kicked Ron out of the classroom, like, Harry was going to walk out and tell Ron exactly what he said anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, might as well just stay. Whatever. But he told Harry, or asked Harry, to go tell Hagrid that Hagrid's attempt is not working and he needs to stop.
Yes.
What attempt, Matt?
That's for you to theorize.
Oh, see, this got my juices flowing. This I was excited about.
These are words I like to hear.
Because I was like, man, it has been a couple chapters since we, like, visited Hagrid in his bloody, beat-up state, and we still don't know anything about it.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if his injuries are related to this attempt that Firenze is talking about.
Well, that kind of makes sense that it's not working.
Right. What is it? 100% Hagrid's trying to raise something that he shouldn't.
Yeah?
Yeah. he's now what the Centaurs would know regarding Hagrid. I'm not 100% sure, other than whatever it is probably happening in the Forbidden Forest, where the Centaurs would be aware of it, and where Hagrid could do it in secrecy.
Yeah.
But what is it? What is this thing that Hagrid's up to? What's his attempt? It's an attempt, I think, to not necessarily raise something, but maybe tame something.
Okay.
What's in the forest that's untamable? I don't know.
Or that he hasn't already tamed.
I swear, Matt, if it's another dragon, if Hagrid's messing around with dragons again, did he steal a dragon from the Triwizard Tournament Cup? From that whole thing? Did he steal a dragon and hijack a dragon?
You would think that there are only 4 of them, and they had a whole team of people,
handlers.
Yeah, to take care of these 4 dragons. I think they would notice if one went missing. 25% of your dragons are gone. They weren't baby dragons either that he could easily smuggle. They were full grown mothers.
Didn't they have eggs?
Yeah, they were nesting mothers.
Right, and one the golden egg wasn't the only egg that each dragon had, right? Or was it?
No, because shoot.
The golden eggs were placed in with other eggs in the nest,
because it was one of the other champions, either Cedric or Crumb, I think, lost points because the dragon trampled some of the real eggs. Right. Yeah. So there were definitely real eggs out there.
Did Hagrid steal a dragon egg?
Wouldn't be the first. Well, I guess he didn't steal the other one. He won it.
I think Hagrid's messing around with dragons, and I think the Centaurs are just like, this dumb half giant is going to get everybody killed.
All right.
I don't know. He's trying to tame something. Something's beating him up. Now, we don't know where Madame Maxime is. That's still kind of a mystery.
Yeah, she kind of went off on her own, or didn't come back with him. So
right.
Probably assume she made it back home, but
we also know that he was, tangling with giants. There's just so many questions. But the Centaurs know something.
They do.
Which means I'm pretty certain that it's happening in the Forbidden Forest, whatever it is.
Okay.
So we'll go from there.
All right.
But we're getting closer to the answer.
You like answers.
Okay, from there, we got a reminder that the DA exists.
Yep.
I don't know why, but when this was mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, they're still doing that, aren't they?
Lots of other stuff going on, and you get. Umbridge walks in the room, and it's instant. Not a good reaction, not a good distraction, but it's a distraction.
Right. So the DA still going strong. They're finally working on Patronus charms.
Yep,
I appreciate
as promised.
That. Hermione's Patronus is an otter.
It is.
Would have guessed that.
What would you have guessed?
Oh, that's a good question. I
don't know. How you might categorize people, how you might guess what their Patronus would be.
She's wise. I don't know if she's wise. I was gonna say an owl.
Yeah.
But that's more like wisdom, and I don't know if she has necessarily wisdom, but she has a thirst for knowledge.
Sure.
Maybe an otter is really good. Just always. I don't know. I'll have to think on that one. All right. It threw me off to have an otter as a Patronus, I guess.
Yeah. This is one of those moments, like I've said, we'll talk about it more in the future when we get to more people being able to use a Patronus.
Yeah.
We get to find out more about what they can be, what they are, how they act.
Mm-hmm.
I think it even said Hermione was getting so good at her otter was kind of running around, dancing around the room, swimming. Swim through the air. Sure, I don't know.
Was it Pavardi or Lavender have a swan or something?
Yep, there's a swan there. Yep.
Okay. Did we find out what Ron's was?
I don't think that was mentioned.
I know he was like mentioned as being there, but I don't remember.
Was whose was it that it mentioned like it was just something hairy?
Seamus.
Okay. I think that was the only other one that was really mentioned. I don't think.
I'm getting them all confused now.
Yeah, I don't think Ron's was actually mentioned.
It's Harry. I only remember that because Val had to read it twice because it was so awkward.
Yep. Yeah, that was Seamus. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was definitely something Harry. Yeah.
But Ron was mentioned as being there, but nothing about like what he was.
Oh yeah, Ron is definitely there.
Sure. And Neville was trying hard and wasn't able to do anything.
Well, you see, and that's the thing. It's like Neville was getting feeble wisp of silver smoke.
Yeah.
So you figure, generally speaking, if he's getting that far, Ron's probably farther along. Now, whether his is fully formed yet or not, maybe he's just getting like that Harry did in the early days, where it's more than just wisps, but it's not actually taking shape.
Yeah.
Like you kind of get the idea that there are stages to the Patronus. Like
sure.
There's the wisps that aren't going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of like the shield that doesn't have a full shape. You can't really control it that well, but it will protect you somewhat.
Right.
And then there's like the fully formed Patronus that's going to actually do something for you.
Yep. Which we saw Harry go through, but kind of at an accelerated pace.
Yeah, and at the time we didn't really have anything to compare it to, but now we're seeing all these people doing it, and they're all at different stages, and so it's
it's fun. I'm excited, and they're talking about. I think this is where the mention was about it being like close to Easter holiday or something.
Yes.
Which, from my knowledge of the Easter holiday, could be anywhere from like March to June.
Not quite June, but yeah. They I think it was either shortly before that or shortly after. Like we got one of those paragraphs where she mentioned, and then we made it through March and April. I'm like, okay, you just passed 2 months in a paragraph. Thanks.
Okay,
yeah,
so
we're just flying by here, but it's right around that Easter time because it was their last lesson before Easter.
Right. Yeah. Springtime, nonetheless.
Yep.
Getting close to the end of the school year. Like that was the first time that because again, I'm not holding the book. I don't see how many pages are left. That I felt like, oh, okay, we're getting close now. We're getting there.
Yeah. Okay, I was wrong. She even mentioned in one sentence, as a dull March blurred into a squally April, his life seemed. So I guess that's just a change from March to April, but still.
Sure.
Yeah. So Easter was mentioned after that, so they were in April for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this time travel just cracks me up in this series. All right, Dobby comes rushing in.
He does.
Oh boy. Red flags all around. He's not his happy, joyful self. He's still wearing 8 hats, though. Yes,
thankfully.
Okay, here's my question about this whole thing. And I know this turned really serious really fast, and
he's like he got quickly regressed to Chamber of Secrets Dobby.
Yeah. But I couldn't stop thinking about one thing, Matt.
Yeah.
Did Hermione notice that Dobby was wearing 8 hats? Like, should she have picked up on the fact that maybe Dobby's stealing all of the stuff that she's making?
That's a good question.
Why didn't she notice the 8 hats? Why didn't she care?
She knew it wasn't the most important thing right now.
But it was for me, Matt.
Who cares if you all get caught? Dobby's wearing 8 hats.
Ha, Hermione. Your stupid hat making project.
Let's address this right now.
Yeah. Spew is not working
maybe the room knew the situation was so dire that it blocked the 7 hats from Hermione's view.
Maybe. That's possible. The room is pretty magical, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so back on track. Dobby. I knew it was bad for the moment he came strolling in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone snitched on the DA.
That's the message he brings, basically.
Not only that, but they snitched to Umbridge.
Who else is going to care?
I don't know. Anybody?
None of the other teachers are going to care. They're going to, applaud him, basically.
I guess so. Deep down I knew it was her, but I just didn't want it to be. So Harry tells Dobby to take off. He's like, scram, house elf. Dobby's like, okay. And the whole time, like, Dobby's explaining this, like, he's trying to beat himself up, and Harry's, like, having to talk him off a ledge.
Yep.
Harry finally tells him to just go back to the kitchen. But he, like, has to, like, specifically tell Dobby, I forbid you to hurt yourself.
Yep.
Because Dobby.
Well, you see, and that's the thing. It's like, even though Dobby is free,
yeah,
we see here that he still has. There's something inside him that he functions better when he's given orders. Sometimes he just needs to be ordered.
Mm-hmm. Once a house elf, always a house elf.
Exactly. And once again, Hermione, look at this.
Yeah.
This is what you need to see. This is what house elves are. This is what they do. This is how they function.
They're a mess, Hermione.
Yeah.
I just appreciate that Dobby is still, anything you say, Mr. Harry Potter.
Yes.
Because he's not working for Harry Potter. He works for Dumbledore and Hogwarts.
Yeah. Dumbledore hired him. He works for Hogwarts, yeah.
But, like, Harry Potter has, like, such a hold over Dobby's emotions that he's able to prevent Dobby from hurting himself just by ordering him not to.
Yeah.
God, I love that house elf. Okay, so the kids flee the room. Panic strikes fear in the hearts of everyone. And it turns out that all is not well because Umbridge has help.
She does.
Malfoy and gang are helping out Umbridge because of course they are.
Oh, yeah. Fits them too well.
I'm just so sick of Umbridge at this point. Again, Matt, like, we're learning about the kids doing the Patronus charms and everything is good, and it's almost Easter and everything's exciting, and Umbridge comes and just ruins it all once again.
She's good at it.
Every time.
It doesn't take much. Just the mention of her name is usually enough. So
that's true. Okay. So Harry got caught because Malfoy tripped him.
Yep.
With a tripping jinx.
Yeah. Handy little thing.
Yeah. Worked out well. Umbridge is like, okay, here we go. Going to the office. We're going to go see Dumbledore about this.
Second time in 2 chapters.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited nonetheless. I'm thinking, what's Dumbledore going to do? All right?
Yeah.
Umbridge is taking him to Dumbledore, and she expects Dumbledore to punish him? Ha!
Yeah.
Fat chance, lady.
Harry's corner.
Yeah. We get into the office, and it's more than just Dumbledore in his office.
It is. The
room is filled, Matt.
Yeah, and not just with the voices that we heard from the paintings last time.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded like Dumbledore was having a party at night, but it was just Dumbledore.
Now, tell me if I forget anybody here.
Okay.
We have Fudge.
Yep.
Obviously, we have Umbridge, Harry, and Dumbledore. But we have the gray hair ore that gets destroyed by Dumbledore.
Yep. Dawlish.
He's there. Kingsley Shacklebolt is there.
Love his name.
I really do. It's so good. You have to say the full name, too.
Yep.
Because I said, like, Kingsley, I was just like,
It works, but there's
Shacklebolt.
a lot more power behind it with the full name.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Professor McGonagall is also there.
She is.
And I think that's it?
For now.
For now? What do you mean for now?
Yeah. They bring one more person in later.
Oh, wait, no. And Percy's there, too.
It's true. Yeah. Percy is there.
Sorry, I tried really hard to forget about Percy.
Well, you should figure if Fudge is there, Percy's there. So,
I
think they're basically attached to the hip now.
Gross. Okay, so this is not going to bode well for young Mr. Potter. And I'm thinking, man, why did Dobby snitch on the DA, right? Like, did Umbridge corner Dobby and force him to talk? Did Dobby tell Winky, and Winky, in a alcoholic fit of rage, go to Umbridge and tell her all about it? Like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
How did Umbridge find out about the DA?
That is the question.
Well, it's a question answered quite quickly.
Yep.
Remember that girl back at Hogsmeade who went unnamed, who was just hanging out to be Cho Chang's friend?
Yeah.
Unassuming.
That friend, just because she couldn't come alone.
Unimportant, really irrelevant to the entire story.
Yep.
Who finally we got a name at some point, but it really still didn't matter at all because why is
just
she...
a river in Ohio. Yep.
Why is she...
No, the city in Ohio, sorry.
City? Yeah, city by the river in Ohio?
Yeah, city on the river.
Yeah. Completely unassuming character. Never going to have to remember this character exists.
Or so you thought.
So I thought. Wow. She ratted him out.
She did.
Good news, though. Hermione's sneak jinx worked like a charm.
I see what you did there. But yeah, we had heard previously, I believe, that Hermione told us, "Don't worry, if anyone rats us out, we'll know."
Yeah.
And now
we'll know.
we know why.
Yeah. She's not very pretty anymore.
No.
And even better, even these great wizards and witches sitting in this room can't figure out how to break this jinx.
That's the best part. I honestly just want to take a time out here and take her over to Madame Pomfrey and would you know what to do here? Do you have a solution for this, or is Hermione just that good?
Right.
I want to know. Dumbledore, could you help out? In this situation, I still think Madame Pomfrey might have a step up on Dumbledore. So that'd be my first go-to. I think you're at the top of your field.
Sure.
You would, if anyone's gonna know, you would know.
I also feel like Dumbledore might be able to break this as well, but he's not going to.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no,
he's just sitting there saying,
now.
"Yeah, I don't beats me." Good question.
Well, no one asked me.
But yeah, I would love to see Madame Pomfrey work her magic on this.
Mm-hmm.
Marietta is the girl's name.
It is.
Horrible little girl.
Yeah, Marietta Edgecombe.
Yep, who decided that she was going to go to Umbridge and tell her all about the DA meeting tonight.
Yep.
And that's when things got interesting.
Yeah.
Then it turned into the most entertaining back and forth, he said, she said, one-upsmanship that I quite possibly have ever seen in my entire life.
Awesome.
It was
this
phenomenal.
Is a good scene. Very, very good scene.
I was just tickled pink just listening to this. Like, it was so entertaining and amusing, and like, I was still kind of nervous about what was going on. I was like confused as it was happening, but I was like, yes! Like, I was audibly cheering and like booing, and it was like the culmination of like some very like strong drama movie, and like the climax of the film is like this court, legal battle, and the two lawyers are battling it out with like a key witness, and it was just so good, Matt. It was so good.
Yep.
I loved it. And honestly, this is the Dumbledore I've been waiting to see all book. I don't know. Again, you pointed out he picks his battles. Like, he's not trying to get in the way of things. I understand that, but I have needed this Dumbledore all book. And Harry has too, to be fair. Harry hasn't seen this side of Dumbledore either.
It's true, yeah.
Harry was starting to have his doubts about where Dumbledore was, like, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. I mean, we've mentioned a few times early on that Dumbledore basically seemed to be avoiding him.
Yeah. Now, we don't need to reiterate the back and forth that happens here. Everybody read it. Everybody knows kind of what went down here.
Yes.
Right. But it was just like every time the bad guys had an angle on busting Harry Potter, there was Dumbledore presenting counter evidence to dismiss the claims by technicality, one technicality after another.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say. I'm like reliving it in my head now, and I'm kind of getting overwhelmed by the whole thing.
Sure. Yeah. Dumbledore, like you said, he was at his best. It was his time to shine right here.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he got to do it and at the same time put Umbridge down made it that much sweeter.
Yeah. He's sticking it to the man. He was asserting his authority at Hogwarts. He was showing the fire that Dumbledore doesn't show too often. But when he does, that man is golden.
Yes, he is.
So then he made me nervous, though, right? Like everything is going good. Everything is going well for Harry Potter.
Yep.
And then it's revealed that the name of the group is Dumbledore's Army.
Yes.
And this is when Dumbledore made me incredibly nervous, because the game's over, he said. He was like, fine, give up. It's my army that I've been assembling. And Fudge is that dumb, right? He shouldn't be, but he totally is.
Like, hear the tone of my voice, Fudge. I am messing with you.
Fudge is like, aha! I got you, finally. I knew you were creating an army. Dumbledore's like, yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Dumbledore, he just played into his fear, his worst nightmare. It's like, oh, yep, you caught me.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the whole time.
Yep.
Been lying to you up till now, but I can't lie anymore.
Yep.
It says it right there on the paper.
So then it's basically like, okay, is Dumbledore giving himself up for arrest? And this is when we got to meet Dalish.
Yep.
A little bit more. And this is when things went from great to fantastic. And Dumbledore's like, look, I told you what I'm up to. But if you think you're going to arrest me and take me to Azkaban, you got something else coming to you. He's like, we could do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way. The hard way ends with all of you laying on the floor.
Yes.
And they wanted to do it the hard way, Matt.
Yep. They tried to take him, but he wasn't going to have it. He was not going to come quietly.
apparently Dumbledore is a pretty good wizard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not something we see often.
No, he reserves his power once again for special situations.
But Merlin's beard, my friend, he lit up the whole room. And I will say, I held my breath when it was like there's a tall figure standing in the, in the smoke and the clearing dust and everything. I'm just like, oh, please let me Dumbledore. But oh god, what if it's Percy? Oh, my skin was crawling. I'm like, oh no, that'd be horrible. But of course,
you did it wrong, Dumbledore. You did it wrong.
So Dumbledore just wiped the floors with everybody. He asserted his dominance. He's the alpha male. Dumbledore, you're the man. But the real MVP here, Matt.
Yeah.
Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Taking one for the team.
Took one for the team. He also did put on that memory charm on Marietta so that she would essentially forget what she was snitching on in the first place.
Yeah, it's like, did this happen? Not that I remember.
And Kingsley had to do this under the guise of like being in the Order of the Phoenix, but still working for the Ministry and Fudge and not...
Exactly. He like close quarters wizardry. Like, it's not easy.
Right.
Especially when there's a verbal component to the spell, and like it's just not easy to do, but he pulled it off without anyone noticing.
Well, the funny part was, like, it was about, like, halfway through this entire confrontation when I went from, well, at least Dumbledore has McGonagall and Kingsley Shacklebolt in his corner, to, like, oh, wait. No, Kingsley Shacklebolt is, like, not publicly in Dumbledore's corner here. Like, he was there as part of the Ministry, not as part of I have Dumbledore's back.
Yeah.
It took me a while to remember that, though.
Exactly, yeah. McGonagall is really the only one that's on Dumbledore's side in this office.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exception of Harry, I guess. But
right.
But yeah, it's McGonagall and Dumbledore against the Ministry. Everybody else that's there. And yeah, as far as the Ministry is concerned, Kingsley is an Auror, and he's on their side. Mm-hmm. He's, heading up the manhunt for Sirius Black.
He's doing a really bad job of finding him.
It's true. You kind of wonder, like, why they haven't taken him off that yet. It's like, maybe someone else can do a better job. But
bigger fish to fry, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was because it wasn't, like, implicit at the beginning of this whole thing of, like, which side he was on. But I appreciate his presence there, and it was a nice reminder that, like, Dumbledore has people all over that are on his side that aren't direct about it.
Yeah. He is an inside man.
Yep.
I mean, well, at the Ministry for sure, probably elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Biggest takeaway, though, was the ending of this chapter.
It's a good ending.
Yeah, well, it kind of makes me eat crow a little bit. And maybe erase some doubts that I might have had.
I should hope so. It's almost exactly what you asked for.
Yes, I was... I have been asking to have Dumbledore directly tell Harry Potter that he is responsible for asking Snape to teach him occlumency.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what he did.
It's like, I don't have much time here, but keep up with those occlumency lessons. Do everything Snape tells you. Okay.
Matt, my jaw dropped.
If that's not enough for you, I don't know what it is.
I just sat there like, after all that, really? That just happened? Yeah, it did. Okay, so Dumbledore is responsible for Snape teaching Harry this. So maybe I could worry a little bit less about Snape. However,
I
still don't trust him, regardless of what Dumbledore says.
I didn't expect you would.
I feel better knowing that Snape didn't start this little after-school project on his own without the orders of Dumbledore, and he wasn't lying about that.
Sure.
Now, there's a chance Dumbledore is under, like, that mind control spell, and he was being, like, mentally told to tell Snape to do this, and, like, this whole weird roundabout thing. I doubt it.
If someone's got Dumbledore under the Imperious Curse, we have a problem.
Yeah, big time. Which makes me worry about what Snape's up to. But that seems like a stretch, so I'm not going to pursue that further.
Okay.
What a chapter, Matt.
Indeed.
It was exhausting. It was exhilarating. There was just so much goodness in there. And I think just because it was like the real first time that we've had a one-up on Umbridge.
Yeah.
And that felt good.
Yeah. Yeah. Knocked her off her feet.
Yeah.
Literally.
After she's trying to physically abuse kids, and just everything was good about it. It was so good.
Much needed.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, no cliffhanger, so it's not like I'm going to be sitting here for a week wondering what happens next. Although I am still kind of sitting here wondering what's going to happen next. But it's not because I have like a specific answer I need, answered, or a question I need answered. It's, man, now I am back in, and I am fully invested in this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Let's get to the best part of the show, and that is listening to the audience in our lovely email segment.
All right. Shortly before we get there, though, just in case there's anyone out there who doesn't listen to the email section, which, I mean, everybody should, but...
Shame on you.
Just in case you don't, and just in case you don't, head over to talesfromgodrichollow.com. To next week, one chapter. We're only reading one chapter next week. I will reiterate this at the end of the show, of course, but... Like I said, in case there's anyone who just listens to us discuss chapters, there you go. There's your warning. Only one chapter. Chapter 28 next week.
Stop after 28.
Got it.
Oh,
I just have to tell Val to stop.
Yeah. I'm going to tell her as soon as I'm done with this podcast. But
perfect.
Yeah. All right.
But now we can get into some emails.
Let's do it.
First email comes from, I'm going to go with Noah.
Noah. Hi, Noah.
Says, hey guys, my name is Noah. I'm 26 years old from Israel.
Israel. Awesome.
I think that's a new one for us.
Definitely. Cool.
Said, I got to know your podcast a week ago, and though I'm doing my best to catch up with the episodes, I'm only on episode 19. At the moment, you're only getting like 4 emails per episode. We're well past that now.
Oh, Noah has so much surprise coming up.
But I'm guessing by now the numbers are much higher, because your podcast is definitely addictive. So I hope mine will find its way between all the owls.
I mean, the table's quite full, but there's always room.
It's true. It says there's something absolutely magical in listening to someone getting to know the series for the first time, guided by a Potter pro. It's like I get to feel again that everything is new to me, and at the same time, I'm not losing the feeling of familiarity I get when I read one of the books again. I get the best of both worlds, as said once by the shapeshifter H. Montana. Not familiar with that reference. In the last episodes, Josh seemed like he could really use some cheering up regarding the whole can only read a specific amount of chapters every time. So here I am, late by a few months, I guess, but nonetheless, still here to tell you that please don't give up on avoiding spoilers. And I believe and believe in you. And I know I must have been a bit excruciating going through all the spider moments, but just think about all the...
Why do they even need to be reminded? Now I have to relive that all over again. Thanks, Noah.
But just think about all the smiles you put on all your listeners' faces while we were listening to you saying at the beginning of the second book that you really don't want to see more spiders. Your innocence is a bliss to us all.
Oh, man. I can't wait for Noah to catch up. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh, yeah. He'll get there.
Yeah.
He's only been at it a week.
Yep.
Oh. Okay, so this one I forgot about because it came in so early.
By the way, thanks, Noah. Welcome to the show. It's a fun journey ahead, I promise.
All right. So this one is actually just an image. There's not an email to go along with it. This is something I'm assuming most Potter fans have seen by now, and it's still one of my favorites. There are, I think you mentioned it in particular last week, like you wanted the series from Hermione's perspective.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so people have, of course, gotten really creative and maybe not written entire books about this or fanfic about this, although I'm sure there is some. But they have at least renamed all the books. Because we always say, why don't we hear more about Hermione? Because it's not called Hermione and it's Harry Potter and the. But, like I said, people have gotten clever, and we just gave you the first 4 books here, since we don't want to spoil anything for you.
I appreciate that.
But
okay,
I will, of course, post this in the show notes. talesfromgodresscholar.com/063. You can check it out if you haven't seen this picture before. But it's all the books renamed as if Hermione was the main character.
Hermione Granger, and that time I used the power of research and deductive reasoning to make sure Harry didn't die. Book 2, Hermione Granger, and that time I figured stuff out and literally ended up petrified for the cause, and it took my friends weeks to figure out that I had the research on me. Hermione Granger, and that time I was a Time Lord.
That might be the best one. Like, short and simple, yes.
Hermione Granger, and that time I realized I was hot and smart and saved Harry's butt with research. Again, all the time. Really, he would have died without me.
Yes.
That's
so you kind of get the idea where they're going with this. But someday we can show you the rest of those books.
Sure.
I love the internet sometimes.
I also feel like Hermione just sits in the chair sometimes in the common room. It's just like, oh my god, why do I keep doing this?
Thank you to Rebecca for sending that in.
Oh yeah, thanks, Rebecca. I don't think you mentioned her name.
I don't think I did either.
Yeah.
Next email then comes from Emily.
Hi, Emily.
She says, "Hello again, Matt and Josh. First off, I must declare that I too am a diehard cheesehead. Love it."
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I said I'm sorry.
No, don't. Josh. Don't listen to him, Emily. We're all together in this. There's more of us than there are of him. In any case, I dream of going to a home game one day, and I envy Matt for having done so. Just as I'm sure he envies me for having been to the Warner Brothers studio tour in London. Yeah, there you go. I'll trade you. Next time I get tickets, I'll trade you for a trip to London. In any case, I'm slowly catching up to present on your wonderful podcast, currently on episode 31. A little farther than Noah. I love the Muggle theories, Josh. Keep them coming. Are you satisfied with Crookshanks just being cat?
No.
I guess I'll find out.
No!
A couple of thoughts over the last couple episodes that I've listened to. Typos in books. I too wonder how this happens. Books get proofed so many times. How do misspellings not get caught? Even Apple products nowadays tell you when you spell a word wrong. Or how some print editions have typos while others do not. Or the later editions fix one error, but then Another one pops up. How is that possible? I wonder the same thing.
Too many hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah, but copy and paste, people. I don't get it. My first copy had a misspelling of professor. I vividly remember showing my teacher when I caught it. Somewhere along the lines of moving multiple times, I lost that copy and I had to replace it with a new one that had no errors. Also, does it bother anyone else that the original editions are shorter in spine length than the newer ones? Because I had to replace my lost copy, I now have one tall book and short books of 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, that would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Get
and
rid
then they
of
changed
those.
the books to be taller. I think to make them appear not as lengthy page-wise for the rest of the series. Maybe I'm just being OCD.
No, you definitely need to fix that.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not
being
alone
OCD
there.
right now, and you need to fix that.
That's why they sell box sets now. That's how they get people to buy them, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we're gonna. I mean, it's kind of like the we were talking about the DVDs last week, or the Blu-rays. Like they keep coming out with new covers, and it's like you were saying, you can't just have like 1 through 4 of this style of Blu-ray and then buy 5 through 7.
Yeah.
And the other, no, it doesn't work.
Nope.
They have to match.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Security trolls. In the third book, after the amazing Sir Cadogan was relieved at his post at the entrance to the Gryffindor Tower, the fat lady, can you imagine your name being that? Returned with security trolls to protect her. Matt was saying that he wasn't sure how the security trolls actually helped when they were inside the painting. I have 2 thoughts. From the way I read it, I imagined that the fat lady was in the portrait by herself, but the security trolls were patrolling the landing and the stairways in front of her, menacingly to protect the painting from harm. Now, if Matt is correct and the trolls were in the painting with her, maybe that suggests that if the painting were to be slashed or harmed, and she were standing where the harm was done and didn't flee to another painting or dodge it in her own frame, that her image could be disfigured permanently. Thus, the trolls in the painting could take the damage for her, similar to a bodyguard jumping in front of a bullet. If that is the case, did a whole new painting of security trolls have to be commissioned, and then then they were able to walk into her painting, or was there already one made and waiting for the opportunity? And if they were outside the painting, how would you go about hiring them? Is there a magical security company? Are trolls the higher end of security, like a team of personal bodyguards, or the lower end, like mall cops? Do you think there's a security troll union?
I hope
digress.
So.
Yeah, now you can write your security troll fanfic, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, my head just went to Paul Blart, and I'm going to be messed up the rest of the night.
Awesome. Good thing we're in the email segment. About the Weasleys' financial irresponsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that the Weasleys are of a mindset that money isn't required for happiness, and that they live a simple life and are beyond happy with what they have, even if the times are tough in regards to finances. Now, were they irresponsible spending so much of their winnings on a family trip? I don't think so. They have 7 kids. I doubt they went on vacation very often, even if they could travel by flu powder. She wonders how much that costs per pound. And do you have to put more in the fire to go a further distance? Never thought about it, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it just kind of activates it. Yeah. Apparition. I mean, it could work, but
they can't all do that.
Personally, splinching would be one of my greatest fears in the medical world.
Splinching?
I think we've mentioned that once.
That sounds horrifying.
I think that's what you said the first time.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But it does sound horrifying, and it should.
Yeah.
Port key. Can you get those for personal travel? I mean, maybe, but right now, as we said, you have to go through the ministry to get them legally, so I don't think too many people want to do that. Or by broom. Can brooms run out of magic, like a car runs out of gas? or get tired like a horse on a long journey? That's a good question too.
Probably. I mean, we saw a magical car kind of.
Honestly, these feel to me like Atari Alex kind of questions.
Yeah. She's channeling her Atari Alex, I think, on this.
Yeah.
Who is this again?
This is Emily.
Emily, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Eventually she'll get caught up and we can go back and forth with her a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, she says, food and lodging and paying for events for 9 people still adds up quickly, even in the magical world. Not to mention souvenirs. This also got me thinking realistically, using the term loosely, about their expenses. It seems to be a safe assumption that they own their home.
Mm-hmm.
It was a small little place they built onto as they needed more space and used what supplies they had. Another random thought: magical construction company. Yeah, who builds these things?
Yeah, house elves.
Owning their home property outright means no rent or mortgage payments. Later in the series, it is made quite evident that Mr. Weasley never handled Muggle money or dealt with electricity, so it's safe to assume that no Muggle utility company is receiving payments from them for utilities or taxes. Maybe there are magical utility companies, though I doubt it, as it is easy to make light and heat with magic, so I would assume the same goes for water. Magical well system? They have a garden for some of their food. And J.K. has said that you cannot magic something out of thin air, so I guess that they do have to do some food shopping to supplement what they can't grow. And even if it is a magical world, feeding 9 people cannot be cheap. Mrs. Weasley is a homemaker and fantastic at it, and I would assume that Mr. Weasley does not make much as a government employee in a less than desirable department.
Right.
J.K. has said that there is no tuition for Hogwarts. I don't know how, but I'm going to roll with it. But the supplies can't be cheap either. Textbooks are expensive and can change every year depending on the subject and the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Example, Lockhart. Yeah, but Lockhart, when he required them to buy his entire collection of 7 books.
You're saying his name too much.
Lockhart. They had 5 kids in school at the time. That's 35 books in total that they had to buy.
Yeah,
since they each needed a set. I would assume that they only bought one set and shared, as the kids were never in the class at the same time, except for the twins.
They weren't using the books anyway.
Wands, trunks, and cauldrons are usually only bought once, but must be expensive if you want to get ones that last. Uniforms must be bought as they grow up, literally. Potion supplies, parchment, and ink must constantly be replenished. Even if the Weasleys did their best to hand stuff down, things get worn out or don't work as well when they're handed down. All in all, it seems that the Weasleys' expenses were much lower than a Muggle family of the same size, but their income was low as well. Because of that, it seems reasonable to spend a lot of the winnings on something unnecessary, like a vacation. But A, I'm pretty sure everyone who wins money splurges at least some of it. B, they used it for a family vacation that may not have been possible otherwise. And C, the splurge on the vacation did not use all of the money. They still bought Ron a new wand and had some left over, or so it was implied.
Yeah.
She says, this email was way longer than I thought it would be, so I'll close with this. Thank you for all your work. I love the podcast and look forward to listening to it all the time. Also, I have attached a picture of my book bag below, as I think Josh will like it.
Nice. Also, it was a family vacation to go see one of their kids and hang out with him at where he was living at the time, right?
Yeah, in Egypt. They went to visit...
Yeah. Was it Charlie or Bill? I can't remember.
Let's see. Charlie is with the dragons, so it was Bill that's in Egypt that works for Gringotts.
Okay. That's a great book bag, by the way.
Yeah.
Hufflepuff proud. I like it.
There you go. I'm assuming she's a Hufflepuff then.
I would assume so.
Didn't specifically mention it, but I'm assuming if you walk around with that on your bag, and that's the only...
Sure.
Like, you don't have all 4 of them. I've seen that before, but...
Right. Safe assumption.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily.
Absolutely.
Look forward to you catching up. Yeah.
Next email comes from Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
It says, Matt and Josh, I'm a longtime listener, first-time caller. I discovered the podcast right after you started the third book, and it has taken me this long to catch up.
It's about time that you wrote in.
In the last episode, Josh mentioned that he got his last Blu-ray and that he needed the last Blu-ray he needed, and got me wondering how you're going to handle last book and the last two movies. Are you going to read the whole book, then watch both movies? Or are you going to be reading along and just announce to Josh one week that he doesn't need to read the next week, but instead watch the first movie? Ooh. It's just something that popped into my head. I guess you have a little bit of time to decide what to do.
I don't think we've talked about that.
We haven't specifically. At least I haven't talked about it with you. I may have brought it up in the Slack chat.
Okay.
With them.
Have you decided?
I think I know what I want to do. Do
okay.
You want to know? Or do you want to be surprised?
I could be surprised either way. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about it later.
Look, you're running the show here. I just do what you tell me to do. So I'm not even thinking that far ahead. I know there's two movies. I know there's only one book. I don't know how it separates. I don't know. Like, it would be impossible for me to ever know, like, where in the book it stops and
exactly,
lines up with the movie.
That's what she's saying. It's like, what do I just surprise you in the middle of the book and say, hey, guess what?
Yeah,
movie time.
It's possible.
Yeah,
you could do that.
We'll see. I'll think about it some more.
Sure.
I am definitely leaning one way, but
I mean, we do have to tell like the listening audience what to expect.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I get exactly. We have to tell them eventually.
Yeah, and if it is a movie, like I do own it, so I could theoretically just like watch it at moment's notice.
That's true. Yeah.
But I'm also been kind of enjoying like the live tweeting while watching it. So, you know, setting that up would be something that would be nice for the audience out there as well. So,
yeah.
Look, let's just finish this book first. We're only on 5.
Like she said, we have time to do that.
Yeah, we do.
Continues. I also have a question about how the pensieve works. Snape took some memories out of his head and put them in the pensieve. Both started at the start of his occlumency lesson with Harry. I'm guessing this is to make sure Harry doesn't see something by mistake. Does that mean once you remove memory, you can no longer remember it? Just wondering, because if that's the case, I wonder how many people have done this and forgot about the memory and lost it forever.
That's probably happened once or twice.
I believe it.
Yeah. Totally.
But I mean, they are sitting there on a bowl.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they don't lose the memory that they have to go back and replace a memory. They just don't know what it is that's in the bowl.
That one, I guess. But
whoops, you messed up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't think it'd be too hard to go back. Like, yes, I think when it's in the pensieve, they literally don't have a memory of it. Like, they have removed that memory. But I think
they just know something's in the memory bowl. They just don't remember what it is.
Yeah, you just know that. Yeah, I put one of my memories in there. I need to go back and get that later. And like, you don't forget about the pensieve. You're gonna see it there, and there's something in it. So go grab it later, and we're all good.
Yep.
Now the question is, if someone did forget a memory in the pensieve, could you pick up that memory and stick it in your head? Or can you only view it in the pensieve, and can only the original owner retrieve it? Like,
yeah, can you steal someone's memory?
That's the question.
That's a good one. I don't know.
In any case, moving on to, oh boy, an unapologetically long first email.
All right. Hi, unapologetically long first email.
Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Says, hi, Matt and Josh. First of all, Matt, hello from a fellow Ravenclaw. A friend turned me onto your podcast a couple weeks ago, and I love it so much. Thank you, friend, for us.
Absolutely. Who's your friend? Say hi.
I've been avidly listening to the episodes every chance I get, and as I can listen to podcasts at work, I can listen almost constantly. I started at the beginning and just finished episode 33. Well, just a little bit farther.
Okay, yeah.
I love your podcast so much. I really want to catch up before the end of Order of the Phoenix, as it is one of my favorite books in the series, and have a lot to say about its ending. But I may just have to skip ahead and listen to some of those episodes out of order. I believe you still have what do we say? We have like 6 weeks yet. You got time. Just keep listening constantly. You'll be here in no time.
You got this. I mean, our episodes do get longer though, so
we've heard about people catching up.
That's true.
They'll make it.
I believe in you.
As I'm working so hard to catch up, I don't know if this still happens in the more recent episodes, so my apologies. It's been corrected, but this is my first email, and I feel as though the floodgates have been building since I started listening. This has been driving me absolutely crazy, so I need to say it.
Uh-oh.
Okay, this is something I haven't really noticed, I don't think, at least not consistently. So, Josh, you need to know that it's not defense of the dark arts, but rather defense against the dark arts.
I catch myself every once in a while.
So you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Says you kept calling it the former in the early episodes, and I thought it would go away after the first book. But the two names are still being used interchangeably at the end of Prisoner Azkaban. It makes it sound as though the class offers some sort of apologetics course in favor of dark arts, which is the exact opposite of its purpose. Very nitpicky, but I just wanted to point it out as it had not been mentioned after 3 books going back and forth, even by Alex, who I was sure would have mentioned it at some point.
Alex,
I love his emails and your ongoing dialogue with him. It is amazing. I also want to say that, Josh, you're so good at picking up on things, and I'm blown away by your foresight and imagination.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I could not. Sorry. It's one of those. I think there's a typo, and I'm trying to correct it in my head, but
sure.
Basically, yeah. If it was something about the big, huge plot twist of Scabbers becoming Pettigrew and Sirius being a good guy, and was expecting a reaction similar to your Quirrell reaction that had me almost burst out laughing and brought tears to my eyes with the suppressed laughter. However, as you were so clever, you were so clever as to guess so many key plot points. You were already expecting huge reveals to happen, which was amazing in and of itself. I love listening to your theories, as many other listeners have also said, and I can't wait to hear more of them. You are so good at picking up on details and patterns in the writing, and already have such a good handle on JK's writing style. Very impressive. Also, Sirius Black is one of my favorite, most beloved characters, and I couldn't wait for you to meet him and love him for the immediate godfather/guardian role he takes over in Harry's life. So I appreciated that you loved him quickly, just as I did. Also, did you know that J.K. based the Dementors on her own struggles with depression? They were very much born out of her own inner struggles with darkness and depression, which is why they represent so accurately what depression feels like in the books.
Yeah, I think we've touched on that before.
Yeah. I don't know if I directly tied it to J.K., but I know I've heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And I remember how in French, the translation for Riddle's full name had become Tom Elvis something French that I'm not going to try. Did you know that in French, wand was translated to... I'm going to slaughter it, but I'll give it a shot. Une baguette magique, which is hilarious.
I think you nailed that, Matt.
Yeah. If I had to translate it, it looks like magic baguette, which, yeah, sounds hilarious to me.
One magic baguette.
Yes, one magic baguette. Also, Hogwarts. Hogwarts became... I'll slaughter this too. Poudlard, which roughly translates to pig lice in French.
Okay, yeah.
Hogwarts,
sure.
Pig lice.
Close, yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
I don't think anyone wants to call the school that, but, you know.
Very true. And now for the part you can't hear, Josh.
Uh-oh. Woo, Matt.
Shoot. Well, okay, I think I can read this first.
Careful.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Tread carefully, Matt.
Yep. So many secrets, you probably guessed them all by now, but there you go. All I shall say is thank you so much for your continued podcasting, patience, and passion for this series. I have loved it since I was in elementary school and absolutely delighted to once again experience the thrills of a first-time read vicariously through you. Thanks, Josh, for your amazing hard work and restraint. You have no idea the gift that you are giving Potter fans around the world who, like me, read the books quickly the first time and never truly savored them as you are doing now.
You're welcome. Also, I have a surprise for you. By the time you hear this, you will be absolutely floored with the knowledge that I have gotten every single one of my predictions correct. Continue to be unbeaten in the predicting game.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, her email is about twice that length, but the second half of it I can't read to you. So.
Perfect. Well, you'll have fun reading that.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Hannah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And welcome to this crazy train.
Yes. Next email looks like another newcomer.
Wow.
Who thankfully gave me a pronunciation key for his name.
Perfect.
This is from Ovander.
Ovander?
Ovander.
Hi, Ovander.
He says, hi there, fellows, or just Matt, if you're still the only one who reads these emails in the present day. It's true. I mean, I don't get to read them, but Josh hears them, so.
Well, the ones I can.
That's true.
I mean, Hannah almost messed it up, and...
Says, I'm just getting into podcasts finally, and have found one of them really enjoying. Yours. I've read the books numerous times and have seen the movies just as many times, though I haven't read Cursed Child. I ended up doing a lot of driving for work, so this is a perfect opportunity to listen to podcasts. I just now starting on the episode where you guys go into book 2 of Chamber of Secrets, and while I know you're way further ahead, I still want to give some feedback on my reaction from things you said on the show.
I was so dumb and naive back then.
Where you're at in the show, you guys just talked about the first movie. To refresh your mind, Josh is a bit more critical about the movie than most people were, which I think can be partially attributed to how fresh the book was in your mind. Mm-hmm. I, like you, Matt, am a big fan of the movies, but an even bigger fan of the books, as I expect most people are. Now, for all I know, since I'm so far behind the show, it may have been brought up eventually about what I'm going to say, but Josh said in the episode that the movie enhanced his book experience. I'm in super agreement about that, but what I want to add is, and wasn't mentioned at the time, was the simplest thing that the movies do enhance the books for me. Is give the world and the characters a canon, image, or voice to associate with them.
Okay.
For example, in the first book or two, you go about how when you saw a house elf, what you expected was not what you ended up with when you saw Dobby. And as good as the imagery is that J.K. can put into words about Dobby or anything in the books, it's nice to have the movies show you what the characters look like and hear their voices. After seeing the movie and going back and reading the books, it really lets you see and hear what in your mind exactly what's on the pages. So while it may seem obvious, I didn't hear that brought up in the first movie podcast, so I want to bring it up in the email. When I read the books, after having watched the movies, I read the character lines while picturing the actors with their voices and such.
Man, Ovander is going to be so excited to know that I still hate the movies.
Josh, making friends all over the place.
Look, we talk about it enough. You'll eventually get there. You'll understand. I'm just so excited for all these new people to catch up, Matt. Like, I feel like I just made a whole bunch of new friends in the future.
Yeah.
They're new friends that I can't talk to yet.
Speaking of time travel, I got an email from Scott.
Hi, Scott.
It says, hey guys, so you mentioned last week about the ability to go back and save someone's life or bring them back. I just want to point out that is my understanding that everything they observe definitely happens. If they were to see someone die or get bit by a werewolf or any other irreversible event, then no matter what they do, they won't be able to change it. Because of this, I've always wondered about Dumbledore's clever wording in the hospital wing. He tells Harry and Hermione that they may be able to save 2 lives. Well, Harry and Hermione know that they're going out to save Sirius. Dumbledore has already witnessed the botched execution of Buckbeak and is merely hoping that they will be able to get to Sirius in time. In fact, they would be in the process of doing this as he says it all. So everything he tells them is just speculation. I would have mentioned it when it actually happened, but I wasn't caught up yet and just decided to leave it. But seeing as you guys brought it up again, I thought I'd give you my thoughts.
Man, now my head's hurting again. Time travel makes me fussy. I get grumpy thinking about time travel.
Okay, we won't spend too much time on it. I will say that I don't like the way he's worded his theory.
Okay.
Like, I have always been of the opinion, I think I mentioned in those episodes that, like, yeah, it already did happen.
Right.
Like, they didn't change anything. Because, like, the first time we went through it, we saw Harry at the lake, and there was the Patronus and everything. That happened the first time. Mm-hmm. Which meant he had to go back and do it. The botched execution, though, like, I've never really thought about that one. Like, in my mind, I guess Buckbeak did die the first time. But, well, no. Okay, the more I think about it, no. He didn't die the first time because that's not what happened in the end. Okay. I'm coming around to his explanation a little bit more, but I'm just going to leave it there so we don't
You're making
annoy
the
Josh
Muggles
too much.
head. That's not annoying. It just...
I couldn't come up with a better word, sorry.
I know. I have a hard time wrapping my head around time travel, especially in this universe.
You see, this is the universe, I think, where I like time travel the most.
Let me tell you a little bit a movie called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I get that kind of time travel.
Okay.
For the most part. It gets complicated quick, man. Yeah. And I'm not looking forward to any future time travel, so let's hope that there is none.
Only time will tell.
I see what you did there.
On to this week. One of my favorite parts of these chapters is when Dumbledore saves the day with Trelawney. I'm not a super big fan of Trelawney, but I love how Dumbledore seems to moonlight as a defense lawyer. He always finds creative ways around the typical interpretation of the law. I also love, and his email got cut off. Uh-oh. But it's okay. He sent in a second email. Since I don't know why my email got cut off partway through. Once I was finished writing it, the draft got partially deleted. And again, after I retyped it and sent it the exact same place. So maybe I have the character limit when sending from my phone or something. Sure. Couldn't tell you. Anyway, part 2. I was going to say, I also love Ferenz as a teacher. Would you rather have Umbridge or Ferenz as a teacher? By the way, Scott, thank you for the idea for the Muggle poll. This is honestly, this is where I got the idea.
Okay,
so
cool.
Or neither if you hate divination. I personally would rather have Ferenz just for the classroom. It reminds me of Jumanji when they're inside the house turns into a jungle.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so. And for the DA shakedown, I never understood how Dobby is acting. He seems too influenced by her orders. He has never had any connection with her before, and I wouldn't think working there makes him take orders from everyone. But who knows? It always just seemed weird to me. So I thought about that, and I guess I'm wondering if Umbridge, as part of her position, like we talked about, Dobby was hired by Dumbledore,
right,
and essentially worked for Hogwarts then.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like that, which I can see thinking how house elves work and how they like to work for a family or a household.
Exactly.
That they they take their job as working for Hogwarts. They serve Hogwarts.
Right.
And so who's ever in charge of Hogwarts gives them the orders.
Like when Dobby worked for the Malfoys, he wasn't just working just for Lucius. It was any of the Malfoys in the household. Exactly.
And so I think with Umbridge's stature, like her authority that she would take over this, she would order all the house elves around. And even though Dobby's free, like he feels kind of that sense of obligation. Like I said, he always does better with orders.
Yep.
Even though he wants to be a free elf and do his own thing. Like he went and did his own thing for a while, but then he came back. He wanted to work for someone. Sure. That's why he came to Hogwarts in the first place.
Yeah.
That's where he could get a job. That's where he could someone would give him orders.
Yeah, even if he's free in the technical sense of the term, like he's still employed. He's an employee, you know, and he doesn't want to. It's not a matter of like him having to because of like the code of the house elves. It's I don't want to lose my job and have to leave Mr. Harry Potter and all my friends and Winky and everybody else and go out on my own again because I love living here and doing work here.
Yeah.
You know.
So you could basically look at this as he's following orders to keep his job.
Yeah. Yeah. District manager came in and started bossing around. He's like, okay.
Yep.
I got it.
But once again, as we mentioned during the episode, we can see that Harry still has that extra power over him, that there's something in Dobby that will forever be thanking Mr. Harry Potter.
Yep.
And so he can kind of give him orders too. I think that part of it works only because he is free.
Yeah.
Like I think if Dobby actually belonged to Umbridge or Dobby belonged to Dumbledore specifically, like I don't know if Harry giving him orders would work as well, because it definitely didn't work when he was with the Malfoys.
Right.
Like Harry would tell him to stop and he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it, at least.
Yep. Dobby, your favorite character. Quite a conundrum.
And lastly, Dumbledore and his undeniable style. Again, with the creative loopholes. He seriously should just be called Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore, Attorney at Law. He would need extra long business cards. I think I'll leave it there for now. It's ended up being longer than expected, especially after writing it 3 times. Hopefully the whole thing made it to you this time.
Got it. Thank you.
We did.
Yep.
Next email comes from one of our headmistresses.
Melby.
Wrong one.
Melissa.
Marissa.
I'm sorry. I got the Mel stuck in my head and it just went from there. I'm so ashamed.
It's okay. I think she'll forgive you.
Let's hope. I mean, she did win a really cool Rita Skeeter t-shirt, so I feel like I'm untouchable.
All right. She says, hello, boys. To answer Josh's question from last week about the snitch. You remember this?
Nope.
The minor league baseball game, Harry Potter Night?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. They had a game break where 2 kids were on brooms, not the magical kind because of all the muggles around.
Sure, yeah.
They had a soccer ball, and they had to weave in and out of the cones and put the ball through the goal hoops and then chase the snitch.
Okay.
Which is totally undermining the rules of Quidditch, and I made my displeasure known to my boyfriend, who knows by now that I can't stand when people /TV shows /baseball media teams get things wrong. He's a real trooper. But one kid did catch the snitch, and he won a coupon for ice cream or something. I can't really remember.
What? That's it?
Apparently. It's a minor league baseball game here.
That was like their entire budget for the week. Yeah.
I opened the notes, and the first one made me pause and make sure I was reading the right thing. Josh was hoping for a Trelawney chapter? What's going on? First Rita, now Sybil. I don't even know who you are anymore, Josh.
Yeah, I get that.
Hermione is totally right about Cho and Harry, but I do understand that Harry has not had a lot of experience with girls he likes. We can be confusing. I'm sorry, boys.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. I'm sorry we're dumb.
The team could get muddy. Oh, yeah, this was in your notes. The team could possibly get muddy when landing, and depending on how often they had to dismount their brooms, especially Ron, that could cause them to get muddy. I never really thought about it before Josh put it in his notes, though. It does seem a bit odd.
Yeah. I was sitting there thinking, like, why were they so muddy? Like, aren't they flying up in the air? Other than, like, takeoff and landing.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be that muddy.
I guess. I am... Once again, yeah, I've never really thought about it either.
Because there's no reason for them to leave the brooms once they're up there in the air. In theory. Like, they're not, like, having to go land and walk around and then jump back on.
I mean, yeah, because they I mean, occasionally, yeah, you see them dive, but they don't usually even hit the ground. Then you pull out of it before then.
Yeah.
And the mud is not going to splatter up that high, even if it is raining.
Right.
Like, I guess the best thing I can think of is it was wet and muddy out there, and even just walking to and from the Quidditch pitch.
Okay. All right.
Is the best I can get for you.
Sure.
Let's see, what else did she say? I love the sequence of the owls coming to Harry and all of them opening letters and reading them. It just makes me happy that so many people responded. Some people actually believing him, and if they don't, at least he knows that he tried his best to make them see what was true. Go away, Umbridge. No one wants to see you here. Isn't there a saying that the forbidden fruit tastes the sweetest? And that's what happened with this article. Why do people want Harry to tell a story about the interview when couldn't they just read the interview? But poor Trelawney. I'm with her on the Hogwarts is my home. I feel the same way. It is crazy how a place we, the fandom, have never been has become a safe haven and a home for us. McGonagall and Dumbledore are awesome in this scene. We all know McG... I'm going to start calling it that. McG doesn't care for Trelawney's subject and thinks she's a fraud, but she still shows kindness and respect and support. And Dumbledore bursting through the doors and giving Umbridge the worst, in her view, possible replacement. I absolutely love that he employed a Centaur.
Yeah.
I always loved studying space in school. I would love to take this class, take a class like this one, or astronomy, because, you know, that's a class at Hogwarts, where you get to
allegedly
where you get to look at the stars at night. And there's a bit of mythology intertwined here, with Mars being a bringer of war. Also another thing I really like to study. But, of course, the Slytherins are helping Umbridge. Birds of a feather flock together.
Unfortunately.
The whole scene in Dumbledore's office is like the climax of a police drama. Everything looks like it's going the right way for the cops, but then the witness changes their tune and the lead bad guy gets away. I do love the quote from Phineas about Dumbledore having style, because he's right.
Yep, Dumbledore has swag.
And on a personal note, I went to the zoo with my family on Sunday and have attached a picture of a snowy owl, perhaps Hedwig.
That's awesome.
A tiny owl, perhaps Pig.
Hold on,
and a playful otter, perhaps Hermione's Patronus.
Oh, that is such a small little owl.
It is. Like that. Honestly, I think that's what Pig needs to be. That's
awesome.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I'm curious. Is it a sea otter or a river otter that is Hermione's Patronus?
Is there a big difference?
Oh, 100%, my friend. Big difference.
Like looks or size or actions?
All
behavior?
River otters are longer and skinnier. They are more adapted being on land.
Okay.
Whereas sea otters are really good at being in water pretty much all the time, because they just have like little flippers, you know?
I guess I've never differentiated. Like, next time I go to the zoo, I have to check that out and pay attention.
Yeah, river otters, they'll run around on the ground, on the land quite a bit. You know, like, they enjoy being in the water, but they're in and out of the water all the time. Whereas, like, sea otters, like, they are perfectly content with being in the water as much as possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
obviously, one's freshwater, one's saltwater.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. River otters don't lay on their back and eat like sea otters do.
You know your otters, don't you?
Yeah, I know my animals, Matt. This is...
I guess that's not too much of a surprise.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The Ottercast.
Next...
Oh, boy.
Harry P. Otter. Next email comes from Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Josh and Matt, for this being my favorite book. I sure have fallen behind. However, I was listening to last week's episode, and I had thought, wow, this is the second person that kind of brings this up. We see Snape taking memories out of his mind to place them in the pensieve before teaching Harry occlumency. It made me wonder, how are memories stored? Does he have to take out one memory at a time? Or can he categorically remove all the memories related to a certain topic?
I feel like he could probably take them out in groups.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Suppose I guess if you really wanted to, yeah, like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to remove all memories of Umbridge. Boop! They're all out.
Yeah.
You'd take forever taking them all out.
It would, but, I mean, that also makes you wonder, like, is there a limited amount of space in the pensieve? Yeah.
I mean, is there a limited amount of space in your brain?
Well, apparently that's why you need a pensieve.
Exactly.
We have seen Harry fall into memories, and they just seem to play on a loop. Presumably all about the same topic, like the courtroom scenes in Book 4. So, are they taken out of the mind in that way? Yeah, I think that's basically how it works. Yeah. Like, just whatever's in there will play on a loop.
Totally. Which, I mean, makes you have to be careful about how specific or vague you are in gathering the memories that you want to remove, you know?
Yeah.
Because there might be some memories that you don't want to remove. Like, it would make you more conscious about which ones, if you were being vague, you were removing it in a group. But, I mean, it's all data management when it comes down to it, so...
Yes. All right, next email from the other Katie.
Other Katie. What's up, other Katie?
Aloha, Matt and Josh. Apologies for missing last week's email. I just have one note before moving on to this week's chapters. Why is Josh still calling Umbridge Dumbridge? I understand that Josh hates her so completely that he wants to give her a horrible nickname, but it just sounds like the worst ship name imaginable. Dumbledore plus Umbridge equals Dumbridge. That would be horrifying.
You've gone too far, other Katie.
Oh, yeah. Now for this week's chapters. Chapter 26 feels so much longer than I remember. I've been listening to the Stephen Fry audiobooks, and I keep checking to see how far into the chapter we were. There's a recap of Harry's date, another explanation of Cho's behavior, Quidditch, Harry's dream, fan mail, Umbridge losing her mind, occlumency lessons, Umbridge firing Trelawney, and Umbridge losing her mind again when Dumbledore brings in friends. This chapter is straight up nuts.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Harry knows he should be better at occlumency now, but it's not like Snape is very encouraging. The occlumency lesson with Snape in this chapter has always confused me a bit. Snape acts like Harry has done something wrong by seeing his memories. But that's the whole point of the lessons, right?
Snape just feels violated, which he isn't used to.
Yeah, I think this scene just cements how much I dislike Snape. His childhood was sad, but I don't believe that's an excuse for the fact that he's a horrible bully as an adult.
Exactly.
Sounds like something you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, though, yeah, I that's not quite the point of the lessons. The point of the lessons is for Harry to be able to close his mind to block that. He wasn't supposed to reverse it completely and see Snape's memories. Like, that's kind of what he told him. It's like, I don't remember telling you to put up a shield charm. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. Like, in the very first lesson, he told him to try to knock the wand out of his hand, basically, to cause him to stop the spell.
Right.
And he because basically, yeah, he's only trying to. Harry needs to try to protect his mind. He's not trying to read anybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's that. In my mind, at least, that's what Snape was getting at.
Yeah. Be careful, Potter.
I love that Dumbledore and McGonagall stand up for Trelawney, even though we know neither of them are particularly fond of her. Strength in numbers against Umbridge is an important thing. I always cheer a little bit when Dumbledore introduces friends. He knows how to work the system he's been given.
That's true.
Yeah. Chapter 27 moves much more quickly. The student's first lesson for Friends is the kind of divination class I'd like to be part of. Using nature to tell the future sounds much more interesting than using tea leaves. I do find it interesting how little the students know about centaurs and other creatures of the forest. I know it's forbidden, but I feel like it's still important to teach them what lurks in the forest.
Hagrid.
Speaking of, what on earth could Hagrid be doing in the forest that this has the centaur so upset? Josh.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
He's messing with something in there.
But this DA lesson is so upsetting. Everyone is practicing their Patronus, and some of them are there for the very first time. So, of course, the party has to be crashed by Umbridge and her little Slytherin band of student police.
Hall monitors.
Yeah. Kudos to Dobby for warning Harry, though. I love that Harry is so ready to take the fall for his friends. I also love that he was smart enough to not do it. Dumbledore is a much better opponent for Umbridge and the Ministry to deal with. My last thought on this chapter is boo Marietta. She deserves to have sneak written on her face. I don't usually condone that kind of stuff, but I love that Hermione hexed the sign-up paper.
Yeah.
Worked out well.
Mm-hmm.
Next email, then, comes from our friend Brent.
Hi, Brent.
Earlier.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "Dear Matt and the Muggle, I am so sorry I missed writing in last week. I think you had an excuse. You had other things on your mind, Brent."
Sure. I mean, if you're going to miss a week, it should have been this week, but yeah. I digress.
This is the week I've been waiting for this entire book. Okay, it's one of 2 weeks, but still. I have made no secret that this is my least favorite of the books, and the 2 chapters from last week, especially the big date between Harry and Cho, encapsulate my entire frustration with this book. It's just one big facepalm moment after another. The date is a disaster from the beginning to end, and I remember my first read-through. This is where I was done with Harry for this book. Yikes, dude. Get out of your own head. Harry needs an actual present father figure in his life to show him the ropes, or at least a big brother, maybe a super cool uncle, just someone. Please take this young man under your wing and teach him, or maybe just slap him. At this point, I don't care anymore. I must admit, in recent rereads over the years, this book has grown on me, and I always thought maybe I was being too harsh on it. And then we get to this reread, and I'm reminded yet again how slowly this book is moving. Yes. But at least the book is going to start picking up the pace soon, and we'll get some cool action. I mean, it has to, right? Or does it?
Yeah.
Okay, and as a note on the proper way to say skiving and its usage, you guys are just wrong. It is skiving, not skeeving. But I think it may be more helpful to remember the word has more to do with sloughing off responsibility, or in this case, skipping classes. I always looked at the word to mean stealing or snitching something. You've sleeved it. All right, gentlemen, here's to better chapters. Let's hope it gets better from here.
Question.
Yes.
For you, not necessarily Brent.
Okay.
Which one is the cool Weasley brother? Is it Bill or Charlie?
Like the one that stands out?
Yeah. The ponytail is good with the ladies.
Yeah, it's Bill.
Bill. That's who Harry needs to be talking to on a regular basis here.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
If only he wasn't over in Egypt.
I mean, You could send an owl to Egypt.
Yeah, but I mean, like maybe if he had been living at home over the summer when Harry was there, like that would have been a good opportunity to spend some time with him, get to talk to him, and how you been, Harry? What you been up to?
Sure, but what I'm saying is, back in the summertime, he wasn't this close with Cho Chang. Now he is, and he's super confused about it. And I feel like Bill is the right guy for the job to be like, yo, this is what.
Well, I guess once again I go back to, like, Bill hasn't spent that much time at home when Harry was there, so he doesn't have that connection with them. It'd kind of be, I mean, you know the family, you've met him a couple of times, but it's almost like writing a stranger and saying, hey, can you help me with my girl problems?
Yeah, but I mean, he's pretty much a Weasley at this point.
Yeah.
Regardless of if he knows him very well or not, like, he's adopted into the family. Maybe
if Ron came up and suggested, hey, maybe try to talk to Bill about this. Like, then I think it would be okay. Yes, but Harry just out of the blue...
Yeah, I'm not suggesting Harry just cold mail him out of nowhere, but...
Cold owl.
Cold owl. Freezing owl. No, but I mean, he doesn't have anybody else that, like, we know of who's not of the fatherly age, because, you know, sometimes it's hard talking to your dad about, you know, girl stuff and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, you can't trust the twins because they're going to just consistently mock him and make fun of him and pick on him about it. Yeah,
they're not so good for advice.
And no one else at school, like, he would feel comfortable talking to, but a Weasley who kind of marches to the beat of his own drum, but still is kind of popular with the ladies, right up the alley of, like, a big brother mentorship type of thing with Harry and his love life.
Yeah. I can see that working.
Yeah.
It's a thought. Man. Fanfic. There you go. Answer to everything now. Next email from
Bill
Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
It says, hey guys, I can't wait to hear Josh's reactions to these chapters. Chapter 26 was certainly a roller coaster. Again, I love it when Hermione puts the boys in their place when explaining how teenage girls work. It's wonderful. Then, Harry's article is a hit, and I'm sure Josh loved the fact that Umbridge's attempt to stop the reading of the Quibbler backfired on her. It was pleasing to read, to say the least. Then the dream where Harry is Voldy, some origin on Snape, and lastly, Dumbledore putting Umbridge in her place. What a roller coaster of events. I do have to say it was hard reading about Umbridge firing Trelawney because, honestly, she isn't very good at her job. However, Umbridge is a snake, and I can't ever agree with any of her actions. My heart broke for Trelawney as she thought she was going to lose her home.
Yeah.
Dumbledore's lack of presence in this book is rather annoying. At least he shows up when it counts.
It's true.
And the chapter ended perfectly. Firenze as a professor. How cool will this be? If you ask me, I think his first lesson was pretty impressive. Who wouldn't want their classroom to be turned into a forest? My concern with Firenze is that the students were already putting him on a pedestal. The girls were adoring him. Remind you of another Professor Josh?
I mean, he is gorgeous. But he at least knows what he's talking about, so don't even compare the two.
We all know how that turned out. Hopefully history will not repeat itself. And then everything hit the fan in the next chapter. I don't feel the need to say much because we all probably thought and felt the same thing. Choices were made, things are about to get interesting. This chapter can easily be summed up with one of the best quotes. Dumbledore's got style.
Yeah. Definitely.
Indeed. Next email from Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Says, hi guys, this past week has been crazy and now I'm sick in bed. Oh. So hopefully this email comes in on time. I didn't get a chance to listen to last week's episode, but that just means I get 2 this week.
Bonus.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember chapter events while heavily medicated, and it's not working so well. I can only think of one comment to make. The only mansplaining I can get behind is Dumbledore to Umbridge. Well, actually, your decree doesn't say you can appoint new teachers. Yay for Dumbledore finding all the loopholes. Yeah. Speaking of Umbridge and her degrees, I found an old purse of mine that was full of braille notes people have written to me. This is relevant, I swear. I was at a camp for blind students, the same one I worked at this summer, actually, and the RA at the dorm we were staying at also happened to be blind. As a joke, he slipped a note under our door one night saying that according to Educational Decree number 137, my roommates and I were being too noisy and needed to quiet down. He signed it Dolores Jane Umbridge. Oh. We thought it was hilarious. That guy is still a good friend of mine.
How could you be friends with somebody who... okay, all right. No judgment here.
Yeah. All right, next email from Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin. Also, this series would be a trip to read through heavily medicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids, don't do that.
Don't try this at home.
No, please don't.
Dear Josh and Matt, happy Halloween. No, you didn't read that wrong. I'm celebrating the beloved sugar holiday early because I'm moving to the Gambia in West Africa in early October. And I can't give up the opportunity to spend my last month home baking all the goodies possible. I'm in the middle of brewing up some butterbeer to serve with the carrot cake, and we're ready to watch our traditional Halloween movie, Arsenic and Old Lace, followed by The Sorcerer's Stone.
Huh. Okay.
Wow. That's... Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Are you going trick-or-treating? Because people might have some questions.
Yeah, I'm also curious why you're moving to the Gambia.
Yeah, we need
if
answers.
That's a permanent move, or if this is a temporary thing.
Maybe just moving there temporarily, but we'll be gone for Halloween, and she doesn't want to miss it, so she's doing it early.
Are you visiting Bill?
He is the ladies' man.
I don't... Yeah. So many questions.
We
Feel free to share if you want. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Let's see here. Before these chapters, I wanted to touch on some stuff from last week. We're getting close to my absolute favorite book and my favorite movie. I won't be able to write in as frequently since I won't have Wi-Fi except when I'm in town, but I'll be able to binge listen y'all once again. In addition to coffee lovers flooding your inbox, in anticipation, there we go, of coffee lovers flooding your inbox, which not too many did actually.
None.
I'll stick up for y'all. I despise coffee,
yes.
even the smell.
Yes,
and get my caffeine only from chocolate. So, I can't drink coffee, but I actually don't mind the smell.
The smell disgusts me. I despise it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't mind the smell, but I cannot for the life of me drink it.
Blech.
In any case, now that I've gotten some butterbeer in my system, see picture attached.
Cheers. Also,
sent that to you.
Cool tattoo.
Let's move on to the chapter.
Can we talk about that?
What's up?
Can we talk about the tattoo?
No, we can't talk about that.
Dang it.
Book 7, buddy. Book 7.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'm just going to go get that tattoo since everybody else did.
Just don't talk to the tattoo artist about it.
So, what is this?
No. This would be a bad idea.
Okay, continue.
Now that I've got some butterbeer in my system, let's move on to the chapters. Bully for Harry. My owl got lost, so I never got a chance to read Rita's piece on the Quibbler, but I'm sure our hero of the Order of the Phoenix did a marvelous job.
Oh, she did.
I love how Ginny keeps cropping up. She quickly becomes one of my favorite characters because of this book, especially with Hermione letting the twins know just how Ginny practices. This moment demonstrates just how wily she is and what it was like growing up with twins.
Mm-hmm.
Sidestepping that disaster of a match, Ginny mentions how slow this snitch is. Do they use a new snitch for each game? What happens to the old snitches? Do they wander the castle and the grounds and annoy the animals and tease the students?
I wondered that, and...
It was very Yeah, deliberate wording.
Do they use a different snitch each time, or is there just like a couple different sets of quaffles and such? That
Sure.
Each
Yeah.
set has its own like snitch, and they just drag one out and play with it.
Yeah, the home team supplies the...
Yeah. I don't think they just get like released out into the wild afterwards.
Be free.
Man, there'd be so many
Farewell,
snitches
little
around.
snitch. And that is what we call the sun. I gotta say, the professor supporting Harry made me smile, but nothing compares to the reaction of Trelawney. Harry as minister is certainly something to think about. And can you imagine having 12 little witches and wizards flying around? Yeah, I think we discussed that.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot.
Too much.
Occlumency is still terrible, and Harry still can't close his mind. At least we get to see a snippet of Snape as a child. And there's certainly some sympathy there. Depends who you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
What a horrible, horrible toad. Thank goodness Dumbledore thinks fast and acts quickly. He showed old Umbridge up. I just hope she gets her comeuppance soon. At least we get a change of scenery, pun intended, with divination. I would love to take Forensics class, especially when it sounds like he doesn't seem to care too much about the performance of his students. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I did not take that into consideration. Stargazing all class long? Count me in. But Forensics just doesn't just drop astro knowledge. Do you have any idea what Hagrid is up to, Josh?
Telling you, he's trying to tame something in the forest.
All right.
Yep.
Another bright moment within Dumbledore's army before hell breaks loose. I wonder what happens, what happy thoughts Hermione and Neville are focusing on. That's a good question.
I feel like Hermione probably has quite a few happy memories. Neville's the one I'm more concerned about with that.
Could be why he's having a hard time making it work.
Yeah. He's had a rough go at it.
Sure. So does Dobby listen to anyone he wants or to all students? Maybe Harry's just trying to help him out, but it won't work, and Dobby's going to be bouncing all over the kitchen. Thank God for Hermione's knitting project.
Yep. He's at least protected.
Okay.
Stuff I can't know about?
Next email comes from Atari Alex.
Hello, Alex.
It says, Dear Josh and Matt, it seems Josh is really eager to get to emails this week. So I guess I'll dispense with the pleasantries and get straight to the point. First off, last week Matt likened Azkaban to Arkham Asylum, saying something along the lines of all the bad guys are kept there so that when they break out, it's extra bad. I see where you're going, but that isn't entirely accurate.
Oh boy.
It's going to drop some comic book knowledge. Actually, yes. Arkham is actually an asylum. Only Gotham's mentally unstable criminals are housed there, like the Joker, Two-Face, Clayface, etc. But there's also a prison called Blackgate, not too far from Gotham, where the non-insane criminals are, like Bane, Penguin, Condiment King, etc.
Two-Face.
No, he had Two-Face in the mentally unstable.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but okay.
All right. Yes, Arkham is more famous, but probably because it's a catchier name. But it only houses like half of Batman's enemies, not all of them. Fair enough, Alex. I can't argue that.
No, makes a point.
Yep. Okay, now for the important part. I've been thinking about what to write in this email all week. Should I get up on my high horse and counter every point of Josh's position, proving that he's unequivocally wrong? No. That would take a long time, and it wouldn't work because he's just too stubborn. Should I just let go and pretend like there's nothing wrong? No, that would give him too much satisfaction. Should I just ignore him altogether and only talk to Matt in my email?
That's possible.
That one was very tempting, but that felt like I was letting Josh off the hook. So I'll just leave it at this. I tried to appeal to your reasoning and your better nature, Josh, which was foolish of me, because I should have known you're too emotional to let something like logic change your mind. But hey, If you want to resort to name-calling to make yourself feel better about the situation, even if it invalidates your arguments, I guess I can't really stop you. Despite all of that, Josh and I can agree on one thing. Coffee is gross.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in this week's chapters, but I'm not about to say what you guys... Not sure what I can say that you guys won't cover. It's basically just one bad event after another. I'd forgotten how much of a downer this book is. Pretty much the only saving grace this week is Hermione's amazing contingency plan and ability to jinx a piece of paper. She's always full of surprises.
Yep, true.
Yeah. Next email from our other headmistress, Mel B.
Hi, Mel B. Did you pick a topic, Mel B?
Looks like she did.
Okay.
All good things must come to an end, and it would appear the DA has been caught. Dumbledore is gone, but man, didn't he go in style. I absolutely love the scene in Dumbledore's office. He is so boss. Chill, cool, calm, and collected. I aspire to be as unshakable as Dumbledore. And the way he handles Umbridge when she dares to touch a student in front of him. Now, if only someone would have gone to him about her evil quill. I can't wait to hear what Josh thinks about this.
Yeah.
Has Dumbledore left Hogwarts for good?
No. Don't be silly.
Perhaps he will have more time to fight Voldemort since he doesn't have to run a school. Any theories on where he's gone to hide out?
I don't know. Probably South America to go hang out where Sirius Black used to hang out.
So it's okay. Now here's a question I have: does Dumbledore have a house outside Hogwarts?
Probably not. No, that's his pad. That's his place.
But like, where did he live before he became headmaster?
I mean, he probably had a house.
Well, okay, before headmaster, he was professor.
Yeah. I mean, at some point he had a house.
Did you think he became a professor right out of Hogwarts? That would have been a trick.
I mean, he's probably good enough to do so, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to go hang out with the Weasleys.
Yeah?
Hide out there.
Dumbledore and the Weasleys.
I mean, he's just quirky enough to pull it off.
Can you imagine Dumbledore and Arthur?
Exactly. I totally want to imagine that.
Yeah. Taking apart all the Muggle stuff.
Yeah.
They would love that.
Molly would lose her mind.
But you know she wouldn't reprimand him as much with Dumbledore there.
No.
Yep.
She couldn't, yeah, she would just back away. She was like, you two just do your thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our final email this week, he's getting good at it, comes from Joe.
What's up, Joe?
So, hey guys, so last week, I'm sure you caused quite the stir, Josh. Something you said last week, I'm sure, upset a lot of people, and I don't want to pile on about how wrong you are, but I must come against you strongly about it. How can you not like coffee? I can't start my day without it, and the fact that you don't like it, I find absolutely appalling. Other than that, I can't think of anything else controversial that could have been said last episode.
It's the taste, man. It's the taste. I can't get over how upset the taste of coffee makes me. Just not pleasing at all.
Yeah, I don't understand how people actually enjoy it and crave it and want more. No.
Yeah, I just don't own those taste buds, I guess.
Yeah. Now on to these chapters. I love Luna's perspective on things. She's got the most important story for her father, possibly of her lifetime, and then says it may have to wait until the article after the Crumple Horde Snorkax. And talk about being humbled and put in your place. And then her surprise that this interview seemed to be more popular than the Crumple Horde Snorkax article was. Yeah.
Oh, Luna.
Yep. Keep being Luna.
Yep.
I enjoyed learning that Ginny would sneakily use the other broomsticks to fly around, and they had no idea about it. The fact that she caught the snitch must mean she's pretty good at Quidditch too, which is cool because we're still in the process of learning more about Ginny. She's been a background character this whole time, but I'm hoping we get more of her as the story progresses.
Yeah, definitely.
More hate mail for Harry while he's at school? These people need lives. At least he's convincing more people at the same time. not really sure what to think of Harry diving a bit into Snape's mind. I don't think Snape expected that effect from the shield charm Harry produced, and seemed to go to the pensieve right afterwards, as if to make sure Harry didn't see anything that he meant to put in there. You wouldn't think Snape had that kind of childhood, though. You never really know what people go through in life. Speaking of our occlumency classes, how Harry can have a memory of something he's never seen before really confuses me. That's true. We didn't really talk about that in depth either.
Right.
But that's where he finally, like, he got further in the hallway than he ever had, was when Snape was looking at it.
Right.
I think it's partly because it's that specific thing, like, it's something with the connection with Voldemort.
Yeah. Has to
like, yeah. Like, Snape was somehow maybe seeing through to what Voldemort was like. He was getting to see Voldemort then too. It wasn't just necessarily Harry's memory. He was, I don't know. That, you see, that hurts my head more than time travel.
Well, there it is.
Anyway, sad to see Trelawney out, but I'm certainly interested and intrigued by the thought of Feren's teaching. That has to make Umbridge really upset that Dumbledore outsmarted her. Thought it was very out of character for Hermione to say that she didn't like horses when Ferenz was mentioned, and even likened Ferenz to a horse because they have 4 legs. Even if she was just saying it because she didn't want Parvati and Lavender to think she wanted to take the class, it seemed out of place for someone who has been fighting for house elf rights for a year and a half. Quite the interesting class with Ferenz, though. I like how polite and well-spoken he is. I couldn't help but laugh when he made fun of Trelawney. And what about his warning to Hagrid? What's he up to? Why does Percy have to be there? And why does he have to be a kiss-up?
Because he's Percy, and this entire scene was meant to just make me mad.
When he complimented Fudge on that joke, I spoke out loud, "Oh, shut up," sitting in my room reading to myself. Glad to see Dumbledore covertly giving Harry help. He's so smart and always finds a way to outsmart Umbridge and Fudge. Good thing Kingsley was there too, though. I'm not sure that could have worked out any better. That is, until the official names list was brought out and Dumbledore took the fall for Harry. Dumbledore is the man. He went gangbusters on everyone and escaped without a trace. I wonder where he's going, though. What's going to happen to Hogwarts without Dumbledore there? That is the question.
McGonagall got this.
She is the deputy headmistress.
Yeah.
She's second in command.
Yeah. He's not far. He's not gone forever. We're good. We're good.
All right.
Yeah.
You say so.
I do.
Well, that's all the emails I got for this week.
Stop right there.
Okay.
I am disappointed.
Yeah?
Now, let me add this caveat to my disappointment. There were many, many, many brand new first-time emailers and listeners who have not caught up to where we're at.
Definitely.
So those wonderful people, I'm not disappointed in you at all. You are freed from any responsibility in what I'm about to say. To everybody else, I'm disappointed, Matt.
Yeah?
Not a single person wanted to join in on the praise that I have bestowed upon the hero of this book. And I'm a little upset about it, quite frankly.
Yeah?
Nobody wanted to challenge my appreciation, my newfound appreciation for Rita Skeeter from last week's episode. Nobody wanted to continue singing the praises with me this week. Starting to feel like you guys just want me to forget about Rita Skeeter. It's not going to happen, folks.
All right.
Got more emails about coffee than Rita Skeeter.
We did.
Unacceptable.
It is a big issue.
Unacceptable. All right. Just means I'm going to have to double down next week, Matt.
Okay, you say so.
For real, though, thank you to everybody that wrote in. That was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know Matt enjoyed it as well. We really like getting emails from you, whether it be in the future, in the past, in the present. Even if you write in just to correct us the entire time. That's cool, too. As always, you could email us, talesfromgodric's@gmail.com. Matt, one last thing before we sign off here.
Yes.
We have another giveaway to announce.
Of course we do.
Next week, we're going to give away something fun. What is that thing going to be?
We talked about this a few times in the past few weeks, but Funko is coming out with another line of Harry Potter figures, and the one standout figure for me, I think, was, since we brought it up in this book, actually, our wonderful friend Luna Lovegood wearing her Marva's lion hat.
Yes. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes.
So next week we'll be giving that away to one randomly drawn lucky winner. How are people going to enter that giveaway, Matt?
That is the question.
This is how they're going to do it. They're going to write in an email, of course, separately than your normal weekly email that you like to send, talesfromgodric'shollow@gmail.com. And you are going to tell us what you would want, not that you have any control over it, but if you could control it, theoretically, what you would want your Patronus charm to be.
Fair enough.
Now, if you've done the Patronus test on the Pottermore website, you could also include that in the email about what you've been assigned to. Yep. That would be fun information. But if you could choose, what animal would you want your Patronus charm to be, and why?
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Fair enough. Let's do that. Because I feel like Luna's is probably a lion. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand why.
Yeah. So let's get those in before next week, and we'll give somebody a fun prize. That's all the show we got for this week, Matt.
Yep.
That was episode 63 in a nutshell.
That is.
Yeah. Next week, final reminder. We'll probably put it on social media and everything else, so don't worry about that. But we are just reading one chapter next week, folks. One chapter.
28.
One long? Short? I don't know. I have no idea. It's
Honestly,
a chapter.
I think it's still roughly average.
Okay.
In length, so.
Cool. Next week, one chapter, folks. Chapter 28. So don't read ahead. Because if you do, you'll be tempted to actually accidentally email about it will screw Matt up, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt's going to have a fun time editing emails next week, I'm sure. So yeah, we'll be back next week with episode 64. Until then, you can find me personally on Twitter at The Noise with a Y. You could follow the show on Twitter at TalesFromGH, which is, of course, where you could find the Muggle poll. Everything else fun over there. You can follow us on Instagram at Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can go over and like the Facebook page and interact with what's going on that thing. Facebook.com/groups?
Nope.
Slash Tales. Okay, it's not a group, it's a page.
Nope.
I always forget the difference between the two. Facebook.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. And let's see. These awesome shirts that we keep talking about. You could go over to the website, talesfromgodricshollow.com/shop or store, or that's it, because I'm not going to make Matt make more links.
Thanks.
And if you'd like to support us and what we're doing here, to do all these wonderful giveaways, to do all the extra content, to do everything else that we are offering to you guys, the audience, the community out there, you could do so over at Patreon, patreon.com/ Tales from Godric's Hollow. Matt, where can the beautiful people find you at?
You can always find me personally on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. Otherwise, like you said, all the emails, giveaway, episode, catching up, spoiler, whatever you want to send my way. talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com.
Fantastic. And all you time travelers in the email segment, I will be friends with you soon, I promise. Just hurry up, catch up, and we'll get there. Till next week, folks. Muggle out.
Mischief managed.